How are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. Do you constantly find yourself dating emotionally unavailable men? Isn't it frustrating how time and time again you fully invest yourself into a man only to have him tell you down the road that he's no longer ready for a serious relationship? Well, today is the last day you ever have to deal with that again. Because on today's show, we're going to be discussing how to avoid emotionally unavailable men. That way you can avoid being in a confusing situation with a man who is only going to waste more of your valuable time. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. How are you all doing today? Okay, someone says I burped real loud. Did I? What? When did I burp? You guys heard me burp? I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't even realize that I burped. My apologies. Did I do that right at the beginning? Good to see all you beautiful people and all your beautiful faces today. Who we got in the chat? I see we got Scotty here, Maria here. We got Hazel here. Is here. SH here. Oh, someone said we heard you talking. When did you guys hear me talking? What the heck? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even realize that. Welcome. My mic was on. Oh, so you guys heard me rehearsing it? That's funny. Welcome all you beautiful people in the TikTok chat. Who we got in the YouTube chat? We got Irina, Devon, who we got Southern Things. We got Alice, Based Beauty. Is Tracy Nellis here? She's usually always so early. Let me scroll up and see if she was here early. No, I don't see her. We got Ivy here though. Carmen is here. Who else we got? We got Your Soulful Sanctuary is here. We got Beatrix is here. We got Jay here, and of course we got Missy. Oh, Tracy Nells is here, and of course we got Missy America, the most amazing, most intelligent, holding down our YouTube chat, guys. I didn't know. Did I burp in the intro there? Like you guys heard me before it went into the actual thing. That's so interesting. I didn't know that. Well, we learn something new every day. All right. Welcome, guys. How are you guys doing? Good to see you. Let's get started today. We got a very serious topic to get to, avoiding emotionally unavailable men, and why you want to be doing that. Because I know a lot of you find yourself in a situation with a guy like that, and you're always thinking about how to avoid those men, because obviously who wants to build a relationship with an emotionally unavailable man? So number one is to date with a purpose. Okay. Now, this kind of applies to you because this is helping you look out for yourself and not fall into the trap of being in a relationship with the guy and realizing down the road that this isn't the relationship you're looking for. See, I know we're friends. Me and you, we spend a lot of time together. Okay, we're here like every day. I know that it's very easy and comfortable for you to just turn your brain off, not worry too much about where things are going or what they're going to be, and just sit back, relax, and allow him to take you on whatever ride he wants to take you on. Here's the problem, though. Some guys are going to take you on a ride in circles, okay? And you're just going to be a passenger princess in a smart car driving around in circles with no destination in sight. And then at some point, after years and years of driving around in circles, he's going to run out of gas. He's going to get out of the car and he's going to say, great, that was awesome. We spent years driving around in circles. Now I'm going to go do something else somewhere else. And you're like, wait, what? I thought we were doing a thing where we're together forever and I'm your passenger princess and I ride or die for you for the rest of life. And he's like, no, we were actually just doing a thing where we drive around in circles, we laugh, we giggle, we have a little bit of fun together. But then after a while, I get bored of driving around in circles and I move forward with the rest of my life, okay? We don't want that for you. So when you're dating guys, you need to be knowing that you're dating them with a purpose. That means you don't, this is where I'm honestly going to get mean with you. That means you have to take things seriously from the very beginning. You can't start dating men and saying to yourself, well, I'm here just to have fun. Because when you say that to yourself, you're going to go about the relationship as if you're here just to have fun. And when you're doing all these things that only serve fun and don't serve your future, you're going to be frustrated down the line because you're going to be thinking to yourself, now that I want to transition fun into actually being a future, it's very hard to translate that because all of the things we were doing before might have been conducive to fun, which just means worked for fun, but they don't work for having a serious long-term long-term relationship. Let me give you an example of what I mean dating with purpose and how some of you might make the mistake of not doing that. So let's say you are dating around and stuff like that. You get out of a relationship and now you're looking to meet new guys, but you don't want things to be super serious at the very beginning because you just got out of something. First of all, you're the one that's emotionally unavailable, but let's put that on the side. Let's say you start seeing a guy, and as you're seeing him, you're like, you know what? I just want to enjoy myself. I don't want things to be too serious. I just want to have fun with this guy. So you're not dating with purpose either. What's going to happen is when you start meeting guys and dating them, remember, you're just thinking about having fun. So what are some of the fun things you could do with guys at the very beginning? Well, of course, you can go out on dates. You can kind of be friends casually, hang out with friends here and there, see each other whenever. You can text like a textaholic, right? Because who cares about the future? Who cares about making sure you're getting dates? Who cares about consistency? Just text when it's fun. FaceTime when it's fun. When you guys hang out, you go to the club, you grind on him at the club because it's fun, right? You go back home together after the club when you're drunk because it's fun, right? Everything's about fun. You sleep with him, you let him jackrabbit himself inside of you for 90 seconds. Lots of fun. We're all having fun. You're squirrel squirtling, you're squirting everywhere. Everyone's having a good time. Lots and lots and lots of fun. Oodles of fun, as the kids say. Maybe the kids don't say that. And then after a while of having months and months of fun, you're having fun out of your mind. F is for friends who do stuff together and F each other hard and fast, okay? At the same time, after those months of having a whole lot of fun, what you're going to end up saying is, great, this is so fun. Let's go ahead and transition this fun to not just a part-time thing, but let's make this our full-time jobs where we have fun with each other all the time and we take this relationship seriously. And then he's looking around like, hold up, girly. 1 second here. I thought you said, let's take this thing to the next level and take it seriously. And you're like, oh, yeah, of course. Isn't that what you want? I'm having fun. You're having fun. We have fun together. I think it's time for us to not just have fun, but to be fun and serious and look forward to the future. And he's going to say, no, actually, this was just supposed to be fun forever until I don't want to have fun anymore. And then what you realize is that when you try to transition it into something serious, he now says, well, I got this going on, and I'll be honest with you, I've got my ex and she's still on my mind and I'm still in love with her. And, I didn't think that things were going to go this far. And, I've got a situation over here. I've got my baby mother. I've got this girlfriend. I've got that ex. I've got this situation. And all of these excuses arise out of nowhere. And you're like, wait a second. I thought when we were having fun, it was all good and you didn't have any issues and nothing was wrong. How come now that I want to build a future and I want things to transition into more than just fun, all of a sudden you have these issues and now you're emotionally unavailable? What the truth is that he was always emotionally unavailable. You just didn't realize that because rather than dating with purpose from the very beginning, you are dating for fun. Okay? I want you to know, hear me now. Okay? I want you to know, anytime you're dating for fun or doing anything in a relationship in the early stages for fun, fun is your enemy as a woman. Why? Because fun is unserious, fun is unstructured, fun is unscheduled, and fun is inconsistent. All of the things that you don't want and don't need from a man or in a relationship in general. Do not seek out fun in your relationships, especially at the very beginning. It only serves to hurt you and hurt your chances of building something serious with that guy. You need to be a drill sergeant from the very beginning when you hop into relationships. Don't allow men to just have fun with you. We've talked about this before. Do not try to be the fun girl or the yes girl that says yes to everything and you're only looking to have fun. Guys will see you, they'll take advantage of you, and they'll only have fun with you. Then when you want to do something more than fun, they'll say, missy, you are giving it to me for free, no takebacks. Okay? Because they're not looking to pay for something that they were already getting for free. Not that you're an item or an object. I just want you to understand the idea. So when you're going into your relationships, if you truly want to avoid emotionally unavailable men, you have to take things hyper seriously from the very beginning. And I can't stress that enough. Don't allow your mind to fall into the trap of, oh, this is just fun, or I just want to relax and I just want to chill. I don't want to put too much pressure on our relationship, okay? Because those are all the type of tricks that your mind is going to play on you to try to convince you that fun is the best way to go. And don't stress him out by bringing this up and bringing that up and having all these rules and having all these boundaries. Just be someone that's easy to get along with, because that's what's going to make it the easiest for him to like you. And when he likes you a lot and he wants to spend time with you, then your life will be good and you'll fall in love that way. The reality of it is, if you're trying to be easygoing and you're trying to be a fun girl, guys are just going to play around with you. And also, when you're trying to be a fun girl, you're going to end up, because remember, we talk about energy and emotions and aura and all that stuff in this show as well. When you're projecting out fun energy, I'm just here to have fun, the guys who are only looking to have fun will be the most attracted to you, because they know you have no expectations. They know you have no standards. They know they can come and just do whatever with you while they work through their own emotions and their own feelings from their past relationships as well. And so because they're also in the mindset that, hey, I just want to have fun. I don't want to have to think about this. I don't want to have to think about the future. I don't want to have to think about how things are going to develop. I just want to have fun in the moment. Those are the exact type of guys you're going to attract when you don't start dating with purpose, which means from the very first date or from the very first time a guy acknowledges to you that he wants to spend more time with you and get to know you, you take it deathly seriously. And when I mean you take it deathly seriously, I mean when you get on this date, you're thinking about, okay, what boundaries am I setting right now that I want to last for the rest of the relationship? How do I want to present myself right now that I want him to still see me that way a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now? What am I going to set in place so he knows and he learns me to be this type of person that he has to respect and he has to give a particular type of treatment to, because if he doesn't, he's not going to get access to me. All of these things you need to be setting in place at the very beginning before things develop, because if you're not thinking like that, you're going to attract all the emotionally unavailable men, and then you're going to end up building a relationship, and even more specifically building an attachment to emotionally unavailable men. Because you have to understand, the worst thing to happen to you is for you to make the mistake that, hey, nothing's too serious here. I just want to have fun and who cares about whatever. And you get attached to that guy because you're spending more and more time with him, and you're being intimate with him both physically and emotionally. And now as time goes on and you grow that attachment towards him, when you find out that he's emotionally unavailable down the road, now it's that much harder for you to take a step back from him. Now it's that much harder for you to say no to him. Now it's that much harder for you to say, you know what? This relationship no longer serves me, and I can't continue investing myself in someone who isn't even ready to build with me. Right? When you become so emotionally attached to that guy, you just say to yourself, well, I've already spent a year of my life invested in you, 6 months, 2 years of my life invested in you. So even though I know you're emotionally unavailable, maybe if I just continue waiting another year or another 2 years, eventually you'll become less emotionally unavailable. Because what you need to understand is it's not your job to ever make a man become emotionally available. I'm going to say that again, because I know some of you don't know that. It's not your job to make a man who is emotionally unavailable emotionally available. It is his job to figure out his own feelings, how and cut off his past relationships so that he is ready to build a new one with a new person without all the residue from his past relationship. That is not your job, and it's also not your responsibility to start thinking of strategies to speed him up and get him more emotionally available faster and quicker. Because the only way for him to become more emotionally available is for him to actually have space to be with himself and figure out his own feelings and emotions. It's impossible to figure out his own feelings and emotions when you're here with him. F says, is this recorded or live? 100% live. I can see your message and I can answer your message, okay? Right? I know you guys love the water ASMR, some of you. So make sure that you're dating with purpose, all right? Do not make the mistake of dating guys with a lack of intention because you just want to have fun, or just because you just want to have a good time and not think too hard and not put titles on stuff, or because you think you'll be more attractive to a guy if you're just having fun with him. You're not going to be more attractive by just being fun, okay? You're not. You're going to get used, all right? So number one is to date with purpose. Number two, okay, this is stop pooping time. Get your hand out of your pants. Listen up in your bed, perk your ears up, sit up straight, snip your poop off of the toilet into the toilet bowl, and no more pooping until this part is over. The segment part is over. Number two, you must, I said must. I said must. I didn't say maybe, I didn't say kind of. You must have extensive, detailed X talk. I know you don't like that. I know that makes you nervous. Going into a relationship or a talking stage with a guy and you start talking about the exes. I know you start sweating, thinking of the idea that he jackrabbited himself inside another woman, maybe for 91 seconds instead of 90 seconds. I know that makes you nervous. However, this will reveal so much to you that is important information that you must know. You must know. You cannot okay a relationship or okay a guy in your mind. When I say okay a guy, I just mean accept him into you and think that everything's good, unless you have extensive knowledge of his most recent relationship, why it ended, what transpired in it, and where it stands now. That is the most important part, that last part, where it stands now. Because a lot of you talk about exes in such a vague way that you don't really know any real answers. But then when it comes to the question of, okay, so you explained all of that good story and all of that traumatic story that you've been through with that person, where does it stand now? Okay? Where does it stand now? What do you guys like together? Do you see her? See, I'm going to get mad for this segment. Some of you are making the mistake. You're dating a guy, not asking him where things stand now. And if you were to ask that question, you would realize that he still works with his ex. You'd realize that he still sees her every day because she's part of a friend group. And they're basically still best friends because they don't want to cause drama. You'd realize that for one reason or another, he's still talking to her. Oh, me and my ex, we share a dog. Me and my ex, we both share an apartment. In fact, actually, I live with my ex. Yeah, I pick my ex up and I take her to work because she has no car and I don't want her to not have no car and have to take the bus. Wait, what? Sorry, what? What did you just say to me? Did you just, what? And these are the type of things that you need to know and you need to have questions about. And it's not just listen to me. It's not just asking one question on the first date. Oh, so how are you and your ex? Oh, yeah, we broke up. Yeah, of course, it's your ex. And then you just leave it forever. This is something you question extensively for months and months and months. You ask different questions in different ways, in different capacities. You get this story from one experience. You get that story from another experience. You see if those stories match up. You ask the same question multiple times, one time here, and then 3 weeks later, you ask the same question in a different way, and you see if you get the same answer. And you absorb all of this information about that ex, and you see if things are making sense, have logic to them, or if he's telling you a lot of stories that don't make a lot of sense. See, I knew I was going to get mad. Here's the thing. What you need to understand is people might be good liars, okay? You might even come across some guys that are great liars. But the thing about it is, the more someone talks about a situation, the easier it is to slip up in your lies. It's easy to have a cookie cutter prepared template answer for a couple of basic questions about your ex. It's a lot harder to have a lie prepared for every single nuanced question that someone could ask over the course of months to you about an ex-partner. And so as you have to understand, every time you ask a new question about that last relationship or about that ex, that's another opportunity for him to slip up and accidentally tell you the truth if he was trying to hide something from you. So never be thinking to yourself, I know everything and there's nothing left to discover. I want you to constantly go about your relationships with guys from a curious mind frame where I'm always going to be curious to understand and know more about the relationship you had with someone else that was good and then ended. I want to understand why that transpired, what the mistakes were, where you went wrong, where she went wrong, where things stand now, why they stand that way now, how you feel about those. Like, you need to step, you know how we come into the Players Club and you step into a man's mind? I want the guys you're dating to step into their mind. I want you to never be satisfied until you feel like you've lived out every single day with that guy of that relationship. Now, I know you're thinking in your mind, Tomisin, why would we spend so much time extensively talking about someone else, and especially some other girl that he used to love and he used to jackrabbit himself inside? You need to understand this information isn't meant to hurt you or meant to degrade you. This information is meant to help you down the line ensure that you're not investing all of your valuable time and energy into someone that's actively still emotionally invested in someone else. Okay? I seen someone earlier say on the TikTok chat, isn't this an invasion of privacy? Absolutely not. It's not an invasion of privacy to ask someone that you're romantic with about their past experiences since they've met you. I mean, you're meeting a whole adult human being who has had a life and existed on this earth since before you met them. So it's not an invasion of privacy to say, hey, I'm going to commit my life to you, possibly. I would love to know more about you since you showed up in my life today. I'm not just going to pretend as if you appearing into my life right now is the only time you've ever existed, and before that, you haven't had any single existence. That's how a lot of you get played. That's how majority of you actually end up getting played. By sitting around thinking, oh, well, you know, I only want to worry about our relationship as it exists right now, and I don't want to think about anything you've done or anything you've experienced before me because I don't want to imagine you being with someone else before me. I just want to live in this fairy tale where your only existence has started when you met me and you're basically a virgin, and with me, I'm your first love, I'm your first everything, and you've never experienced anything good with anyone else. That is a very childish, immature way of thinking, and you'll get played like a child. Okay? You'll get played just like a child if you're thinking that way, thinking that you want to ignore getting all of that information because it'll make you feel better. Okay? Stepping into the Players Club is not about making you feel better. It's about realizing what actually goes on in relationships, and especially with guys, and how to avoid putting yourself in the horrible situation of investing your time and energy into the wrong guy. You need to face this head on. Don't make the mistake of thinking that it feels better to not talk about exes, or that it's an invasion of privacy to talk about exes. It is not. It's actually your right as their romantic partner to know about their past experiences, okay? Right? And that's more than just who did you sleep with. So don't have your mind on that. I'm talking about what was your experience with someone you said at one point you loved. Okay, you said at one point you were going to be committed to. So the same way you're here with me saying you want to commit your life to me and you want us to be together forever, that's great. But at one point you were saying that to someone else. That's not a crime. But let's unpack why that was at one point someone you wanted to commit your life to, and what transpired to turn it into someone that you no longer want to be with. I want to understand you and where you're coming from. It doesn't mean you have to tell him, hey, you're wrong for that or you're a horrible person for that. But understanding him and understanding what transpired in his relationship will give you so much context as to who the person is that's actually sitting in front of you. I seen someone yesterday when I talked about information and gathering information, someone was like, but when I learn all of that stuff, I won't like him anymore, or he won't be as attractive to me. Precisely. Okay? Precisely. You have to understand that when guys start giving you real information about them, how they think, what they want, what they desire, who they've been, for some of you, that's going to make him very unattractive to you. Why? Because you're meeting the real person. You're not meeting your imagination of them. And instead of you being allowed to fill in the gaps of their personality with your imagination or your Prince Charming from a Disney princess movie, you actually are getting to know the real him. And a lot of times the real him might not be as attractive as your imagination of him. So when he's telling you all these real experiences and you're like, oh, that's kind of toxic, or oh, that's kind of not what I'm looking for, or oh, that kind of sounds gross, I don't know if I want a guy like that in my life, you're actually doing yourself a solid by helping him give you information and admit to you the ways that he might not be the guy that you want. But you know why you're doing yourself a solid? Because down the line, you say to yourself, oh no, I know what type of guy you are. You've actually shown me that you're emotionally unavailable. I'm not going to invest my time and energy into you because I don't need to go off of my imagination of you. I'm actually learning the real you. And the real you is not very attractive to me. And I'm realizing that the real you is actually not who I'm looking for. You have to understand that that actually serves you. What doesn't serve you is allowing yourself to be in la la land where you're saying, oh, I don't want to worry about any of this information. I don't want to bother myself or burden my mind by getting to know you for real. Just say nothing, be quiet, shut the hell up, and allow me to live in my fantasy where you have the longest schlong, you have the most money, you're such a healthy partner, you do everything right, you're so kind, sweet, you give princess treatment all the time, and you're the absolute perfect guy that any woman would be happy to be with. Let me continue living that dream and rubbing a couple out to that dream and that fantasy. Please shut the hell up so I don't have to imagine anything else. That doesn't actually serve you, because eventually you'll find out the truth. But at that point, it'll be a lot more painful because you'll be so much more emotionally invested in that guy by the time you realize the truth. Are we on the same page so far? Okay. I want to acknowledge Electric Feel, who donates $20 in the YouTube chat. Electric Feel says, topic is a banger. Thank you. Thank you for your donation. And I appreciate all of you all who donate. I see a couple people donated in the TikTok chat as well. I see Elsa. Thank you for the donation. Rosemary and Said Manati. Okay. Thank you so much, all of you people that donated. I appreciate you all. All right. Are you guys following what I'm saying here? It's so important. I know X talk is painful. Someone said a lot to unpack here. Well, for sure. I know X talk is painful, and I know it's not what you want to hear, and I know it's not what you want guys to be talking about when you just start meeting them because you want to live in the fantasy. At the end of the day, this will make it, see, you're going to find when you start talking about exes, guys will start admitting to you a lot of things. See, when you get good at asking questions and making people feel comfortable and empowered to yap to you and tell you all their deepest, darkest secrets, you'll be surprised how comfortable guys will be around you to tell you stuff that actually makes them look bad. See, I know that you want this guy to be attracted to you, but when you're going out on these dates, all you want to really be focused on is enchanting him to get him to spill his guts to you. Remember, you're supposed to be like Wonder Woman. And in the comic books, Wonder Woman has this thing called the lasso of truth. The lasso of truth is essentially like a rope, right? That it's a magical rope. She ties it around people. And when she ties that lasso of truth around people, it forces them to start spilling their guts and telling everything that's on their mind. So if you have a criminal that's committed a crime or done something bad, she puts the lasso of truth around them and they admit to all the wrongdoings that they've done. You want to be like that too. You want to use your ability to enchant men to get them to essentially be like your lasso of truth and get them to spill their guts to you like they would a best friend that really wants to hear all the tea. And in the process of them spilling their guts to you, they'll be telling you all the ways they did their ex wrong, or they weren't the man that they needed to be in the relationship. Or even more than that, they'll be telling you how they're still in love with that woman and they're still invested in that woman. And if that woman were to come back into their life, they would happily take her back. Because some of you are meeting guys, whether it be outside, at the club, at the bar, or on dating apps even. I know some of you think guys who are emotionally unavailable are immune to dating apps, because you're thinking, why would an emotionally unavailable man go on a dating app? They definitely go on dating apps too, because they want to distract themselves, okay? People love distractions. Men love distractions as well. And they love being able to distract themselves from the pain that they're no longer with girl number one by getting with girl number two, who's on Hinge, on Bumble, on Tinder, on wherever it is that he can meet girl number two. And so that he can spend his time with you while girl number two decides if she wants to be with him, or if girl number two ever comes back into his life and decides she wants to give him a second chance, he will gladly run back to girl number two. And you know who's left hanging out to dry? You are. We don't want that for you, which is precisely why we want you going head first into X Talk from the very beginning, and you never let go of learning about someone's ex. I assure you, you will be surprised the more you ask about an ex and the more information you gather, even the most amazing of amazing people you thought were the best, of the healthiest, of the most amazing. You'll be surprised at the information you'll learn about someone when you get them extensively talking about their ex and their past relationship, okay? Right? Nor says, who's to say they'll be honest? Exactly. And I'm not saying, which is exactly why I tell you guys, X Talk is not one question on the first date, and then for the rest of the time you know them, you never talk about it again. X Talk is an ongoing conversation that lasts months, if not years. Why? Because the more experience they've had with that previous ex, the more you need to be understanding the context of the conversation. And while people might be good at lying to you one time or two times with cookie cutter template pre-prepared answers, it gets increasingly more difficult to continue the lie on an ongoing basis with questions and follow-up questions and more questions and this question and all these questions that they were unprepared for. Every time you ask another question and every time the days go by and he has to get into more detail about that past experience, it becomes more and more difficult to keep all the lies together in a tight, neat little package. And eventually what's going to happen, like Nor said, they might lie to you at the very beginning, but eventually what's going to happen is after a while, they're going to start slipping up and things are going to stop making sense. Things are going to stop being logical and the stories are going to stop tying together in a neat little package. And you're going to start to notice the breakdowns and the inconsistencies in the stories. And then when things break down too much, you're going to start seeing him shut down and say, you know what? I don't want to talk about that anymore. Why are we still talking about that girl? That relationship's over. News flash to you. When you start talking about an ex or you start bringing up the conversation about an ex and the guy that you're talking to or asking these questions from starts telling you, hey, why don't we stop talking about ex-girlfriends? They're not relevant. I'm here with you. I want to focus on you. I don't want to talk about my ex. I just want to talk about how beautiful and stunning you look here today. Don't be thinking that that's a compliment. You want to know what that is? That's a distraction. It's a distraction. I always tell you guys, you want to know what magicians do? Because they don't do magic. What they do is sleight of hand. You know what they tell you? They tell you, hey, look, you see this Aquaphor stick here? I'm going to take this Aquaphor stick, right? And I'm going to make this Aquaphor stick disappear. And it's very simple. See, when I take my hand like this and I make this Aquaphor stick disappear, all I have to do is I take my hand, right? And I rub it against this one right here. And when I rub it and I do it real tight, it's like a genie hand, right? And I blow on it and I can shake it around a little bit and it just disintegrates into thin air. And I'll show you right now. I'll show you how the Aquaphor disappeared. Remember? Okay, ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. It's gone. There's no more Aquaphor. You see that? It's like magic, okay? No more Aquaphor in my hand. How did I do that? It's like magic, right? And that's what magicians do. But it's not actually magic. What it really is sleight of hand. It's just understanding how to get your attention in one place over here while I do something else over here. And then it makes it seem like magic because I took your attention away from where it should be and put it somewhere where it doesn't matter if your attention is there while I do something right underneath your right underneath your nose, okay? Right? Someone says the show just gets better and better. We got magic tricks out. Did you guys actually fall for that? I didn't know if you guys actually fell for that. Was that actually slick there? Did you guys actually not notice what I did there, right? That's what magicians are essentially doing, Okay, right? They're just redirecting your attention somewhere else in a strategic way, understanding what's going to draw your attention. That way they can do something else underneath your nose right in front of you, but then it all seems like magic. It's the same thing our guys are doing when they say to you, oh, actually, yeah, let's not talk about the exes. Let's not talk about those silly girls that are in the past. That's the past. Let's talk about me and you right now. And you're thinking in your mind, oh, don't make me blush. I'm the most beautiful girl on earth. Yeah, you're so beautiful and you're so stunning. Turn around, give me a spin. I want to see that dump truck. Oh my God, look at that dump truck. It's the biggest dump truck I've ever seen in my life, girl. How'd you even fit in those jeans? How'd you even get into them? You had to jump to get in those jeans, girl, with that dump truck of yours. I can't believe the way your dump truck looking. And you're just all distracted. While he sits back and he says, great, now she has no idea that we're ignoring the ex talk because I'm secretly in love with my ex still, but we don't want her to know that. So let's not talk about that, okay? But let's talk about how good she looks. She'll love that, and she'll get distracted by that. Don't let guys distract you that way. Smart guys will do that, okay? Very good strategy. Get your attention on you and making him think that, oh, I just want to talk about how good and amazing you are, not talk about this past girl, right? Real slick. I want you to never ignore that and use that. Your alarm bell should be going off anytime a guy tries to redirect your attention off of an ex conversation and onto a conversation about how amazing you look or how awesome, how beautiful and stunning you are. It's not because I'm not saying that to say, oh, don't ever take the compliment or whatever, but I just want you to understand, like a magician, it's a very good way to redirect your attention somewhere else so that he can use sleight of hand, okay? Someone says, what were 1, 2, and 3? Just go on to my YouTube page. My YouTube page is right above my head. It's Tomisin Atobatele. Type it in on YouTube, and you'll be able to find me live at the same time on YouTube. Okay, so on YouTube, you can just rewind it there. That way you don't have to ask what all the points were again. You can just hear it live from me there, okay? For any of you that missed them. So, number 1 was to date with purpose. Number 2 is X talk, and make sure you do that extensively, okay? Number 3, and this is super important as well. Number 3, I want you having no fake friendships, okay? Here's the problem. See, fake friendships are real fun at the beginning. And when I'm talking about fake friendships, what I'm referring to is the friendship that you develop with someone that you actually want to be romantic with, but because neither you or him or one of you don't want to address the fact that you want to be romantic with each other and you just want to hang out with each other and not think too hard about where it's going, instead, you build what we call a fake friendship and pretend that you guys are just friends instead of having to acknowledge that you guys actually like each other and want to be romantic with each other, okay? So one of the reasons why I say you don't want to have fake friendships is because fake friendships will always make it easy for you to fall into the trap of not setting boundaries and expectations. But then all of a sudden now you're doing a whole lot of girlfriend and boyfriend things, but you're not boyfriend and girlfriend. And there isn't the boundaries of a boyfriend and a girlfriend. But when you're together, it's just like being with a boyfriend or girlfriend, but you're still friends. What you really are is confused. But you know where that confusion leads is that down the road, once again, kind of very similar to dating with purpose, down the road, when you say, okay, we've been doing this kind of fake like friendship thing for a long time. Can you give me a little bit more clarity as to what we are and what we're doing here? Are we dating? Are we girlfriend and boyfriend? And then this is what's going to happen for a lot of you, because the fake friendship is usually guys' way of avoiding committing to you. He's going to say, you know, I got so much going on and I don't have a lot of money right now and I've got a business and I've got, you know, this situation and this girl that was once we had a thing and I'm trying to figure stuff out with her and trying to understand, you know, what we got going on. And then you're sitting there like, wait, what? The other girl, what is going on? And you're like, no, so we were friends. Like I was dating kind of another girl and we just have this complicated situation, and I'm trying to figure it out and understand it. And you're sitting here thinking, oh my God, I've invested all this time in a friendship that I really didn't consider a friendship. I just didn't want to categorize it, and I was just waiting around for him to commit to me. But all this time I wasted on a guy being friends with him when I know deep down I actually liked him and we were sleeping together, so that's not friends. And now I'm realizing that this entire time he's been going back and forth with another girl while simultaneously being friends with me. The reason why I tell you to never allow fake friendships is because under the umbrella of friendship, see, guys are allowed to see other people. Guys are allowed to spend time with their exes. Guys are allowed to date other people, go on dates with other women, and even sleep with other women. Why? Because you guys are just friends. The problem with that is you're not only actually friends. You're friends who sleep together. You're friends who you allow him to jackrabbit himself inside of you, right? You're throwing it back on him. That's not very friend-like, okay? You're making out with him. You're tongue kissing him. That's not very friend-like. You're spreading your legs wide open behind your head for him. That's not very friend-like, okay? A lot of the stuff that you're doing with him is not very friend-like. However, you're categorizing yourselves as friends because it's easier and it doesn't make you stress yourself out saying, oh, well, I should be thinking about what's going to happen in the future, and I should be worried about what he thinks about me, and I should be worried about how I'm presenting myself. You don't want to stress yourself out, so you just allow it to be friends. Problem is, like I said, in the process of you just being friends, those guys date other people, they build relationships with other people, or they have ongoing things with other people that never ended, right? And are still going on while you two are friends. And then when you finally put your foot down and say, wait, we can't do this friend thing forever. What's it actually going to be? He says, well, I don't have a plan for us aside from being friends because I have a situation that I'm trying to figure out with someone else. Have you ever been friends with a guy for so long that when you finally stop wanting to be just friends, he now admits to you how this entire time you've been friends, he's had another situation going on with someone else? What type of friendship is that, right? Where you sleep with him, you're romantic with him, and you basically are like his girlfriend. But then when you finally say that you actually want to be his girlfriend, he tells you the whole time he's essentially had another girlfriend. Who loses? You lose. I told you earlier in the show, don't waste your time thinking about how to have more fun with men because that's only going to serve the men. You need to be thinking about the future. So your F, right, is not for fun. Your F is for future because that's what you're worried about. You're worried about the future. You're worried about consistency. You're worried about commitment. You're not worried about having fun with guys who just want to have fun because the reality of it is the guys who just want to have fun, they'll drive you around in the smart car in circles forever, or just until they're tired of you and they move on to a girl who they actually want to take seriously. Don't be the fun girl. Fun girls get driven around in circles, okay? Not understanding where things are going. And then eventually he gets out of the car and he leaves you in an empty, dingy, dusty Toyota Corolla with no gas on the side of the road, on the side of the highway. And you're wondering what happened. And he goes off into the sunset, gets into another car and drives off with a different girl. Please don't do that to yourself. And make the mistake of building a fake friendship with a guy, thinking that, oh, I'm building this fake friendship because I don't want to stress things out and make it too serious too fast, when in reality, you're only making it easier for yourself to attract emotionally unavailable men into your life who don't want to define things because they know their mind and their emotional bandwidth is all being spent on some other girls. I told you earlier, a lot of these things that we talk about, right? Dating with purpose and even not having fake friendships. I'm saying that because when you do a lot of these things, you make it so much easier for emotionally unavailable men to be attracted to you because you're like the breeding ground. You're the perfect environment. You're the perfect type of soil for an emotional unavailable man to plant himself inside, right? An emotional, unavailable man is not going to have very much success planting himself inside of a woman who's secure, who knows what she wants, and is dating with purpose, and is not interested in fake friendships or, unidentified or clear titles. An emotionally unavailable man can't deal with a girl like that because she'll spot very quickly that he's just BSing around. Emotionally unavailable men are the most attracted to the women who let fake friendships happen, who don't date with purpose, who let them do this, let them do that, because then they don't ever have to address being serious or taking this thing serious. They can just have fun forever until they're ready to move on to something else. Don't be the breeding ground or the perfect type of soil for an emotional unavailable man to plant himself inside, both physically and emotionally. You understand what I mean? Right? Don't do that. So does that make sense to you guys so far? Why I say no fake friendships? I don't want you guys having fake friendships. Okay? Ivy says in the YouTube chat, she says she donates $10. Thank you so much, Ivy. Ivy says, I want to give them a chance, but knowing when enough is the part I struggle with. Thanks, Tommy. Of course, that is difficult to understand when to cut things off. And of course, you want to give people a fair shot to show you that they're actually serious. Now, you have to understand that someone can be, like I said earlier, in yesterday's show, guys can be intentional while being patient with you. And when it's actually happening, you'll know that it's happening because you won't have to pull teeth to get a guy to just want to see you or do something as simple as take you out on a date or figure out a day to see you. But you also won't have to constantly be fighting him off whenever you try to set a boundary or whenever you try to be look, I'm not ready to sleep with you yet, but I definitely do want to get to know you more. You understand? Guys, trust me. I know some of you feel like it's impossible to meet guys like that, but I promise you there are guys that are capable of being intentional when they really want to be intentional. Now, there's a difference between being intentional and love bombing you, but there is a balance in between that, right? And yes, of course, you want to give guys a chance to show you that they really mean business. But at a certain point, it becomes there becomes a limit to it where if they can't show you anything in a period of time, then at some point you just have to move forward with your life. You can't continue waiting for guys to show you something. And you definitely can't be sitting around in a fake friendship hoping that one day the fake friendship will turn into something. Don't be waiting around for men to take the relationship serious. None of that goes for all of you. Okay. Right? Does that make sense? Oh God, I'm so thirsty. I might have to go get the pitcher too. I'd be thirsty. All right, guys, let's go to the next one. So number 1 was to date with purpose. Number 2, X talk. Number 3, no fake friendships. Please, no fake friendships. Number 4, okay, I know I said earlier was stop pooping time. This is part 2 where I want you really paying attention. I want you looking in my eyes because this is really important. And I know some of you make this mistake. This is going to sound really weird for you, but I want you, and I really mean this, I want you to stop dating multiple men. And number 4, I want you to start dating one man at a time. Before you log off and say, Thompson, I don't want to hear any of this. This is stupid information. This is dumb information. I want to date 35 men at once. I want all the men to see me at the same time. I want to have them lined up from beginning to end, and I want to see them all at the same time so they can all give me the most attention I can possibly get at one time. Hold on. I'm going to explain to you why I want you dating one man at a time, okay? Here's the thing. See, when you're dating multiple men, I always tell you guys, the mistake there is you're going to have very little emotional bandwidth left over for each individual man. Every time you add another man to the pile, you're basically splitting your emotional bandwidth into more and more people. You only have a 100% of your emotional bandwidth. When I say emotional bandwidth, what I'm essentially talking about is your time, energy, and focus. It becomes really hard to absorb each individual you're dating the more people you add to that pie. It's the same reason why if you've ever watched a show like Love is Blind on Netflix, where they go into the pods and they're in front of a wall and they have to date a whole bunch of people in the pods as well, you see a lot of them bring their notebook. They're there for the conversation. They know what's being said. They're part of the conversation. You want to know why they bring their notebook? Because at a certain point, when you're dating so many different people, it becomes hard to even absorb the information you're receiving from each individual person. You might laugh and have a great time with person number 1, and you might have a great time with person number 5. But by the time you get to person, you're thinking back to all your conversations with each person, you're like, wait, so was that shared interest with person number 3, or was that shared interest with person number 11? And you can't properly absorb information, and you get really confused really easily on who was showing me what I actually want and who was not. Here's the thing about dating, about why I want you to be dating one man at a time, and why it's so important to not attract emotionally unavailable men. Because when you're dating one man at a time, you're very much less susceptible to dealing with BS that guys will try to present to you when they are emotionally unavailable, but they just don't want you to realize that. Why? Because when you're only dating one man at a time, you're actually paying attention to everything he's saying to you. And even when you're not with him, even if you're on the date with him and he's saying BS to you and you don't realize it in the moment, because he's the only person you're dating, you go back home from the date and you think to yourself, wait a second, he was talking about I just kind of only see my ex sometimes because we're friends in a friend group. But then he said that he hangs out with that friend group like damn near 2-3 times a week. Wait a second. He's still seeing his ex 3 times. Why am I even dating a guy who's seeing his ex? These are the type of things that when you have the emotional bandwidth, because you're only dating one guy at a time, you actually have the space to think to yourself, wait, does what he just said even make sense? That topic or that statement, that's not even logical. That doesn't even make sense. Why did I was on the date and I just said, yeah, because I was on the date. But now that I'm actually thinking about it, that was the stupidest thing anyone could ever say. And I need to address that, or I need to be following up on that, because it requires my full attention to really understand and dig deeper there. Here's the thing. See, when you're dating multiple people at once, it becomes harder to think back to what each individual person said, and you also are way more susceptible to missing things. Because, see, when I'm dating one person at a time, I go home and I only think to what person number 1 said to me. I only think to the conversation we had, the experiences that he shared to me, and if all of those things make sense. When I date 3 guys at once, I go back home and I might be thinking about what guy number 3 said today, and the moment I start thinking about my date with guy number 3, it might remind me of something that guy number 1 said to me, and then my mind goes to guy number 1 and I'm thinking about that day, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did like guy number 1 and what he said, and he was like really nice, he's got nice teeth. Oh, but I remember guy number 2, his teeth were even nicer, and I remember when we were laughing with each other and we went back to drink wine, that was so. And you see how your mind hops and skips to this one and that one and this one and that one, and now all of a sudden you can't possibly absorb the information of what one in particular guy was telling you. So remember why I said you end up being a perfect breeding ground and a perfect pot of soil for an emotional unavailable man to implant himself inside. See, when you're distracted by having a roster of multiple men, emotionally unavailable men can slither their way into your life, because it's easier to go undetected when you're dating multiple men at once. It's a lot harder to go undetected when you're the only guy in his life, right? So guys would love it if you're so emotionally spread thin that you're not able to properly analyze everything that he's saying and take in information, because then he can slither his way into your life and he can say, oh, you probably won't realize that what I'm saying makes no sense. You probably won't think to be asking me this question about my past relationship or my ex or what's going on with me, and you'll just be thinking about having a good time with me and getting some attention from me, because tomorrow you're going to go on date number 2 with guy number 4 and you're going to get some attention from him. Then you're going to go on another date with guy number 5 that you met on Hinge, and you're going to get some attention to him, and your mind's only focused on getting attention and not really extracting information. So what can I do? I can slither my way inside of you, jackrabbit myself inside of you for 90 seconds, get my enjoyment from you. Meanwhile, you're so focused on dating 95 men at once, you don't realize I'm not even emotionally unavailable. I'm not even the guy guy you're looking for. I'm playing you too. So, but what you have a roster, right? You're happy with your roster. You don't realize what I'm actually doing here and how I'm actually slithering myself into your life, but I get what I want. So I don't want you to realize that. Okay. Right? Best thing, one of the best things to ever happen to men. Okay. I see, what is it? Shaw saying, Cap. I seen her saying, don't listen to this, guys. Don't listen to this. Shaw, I can assure you, if you want to date 95 men at once, please, let me say it in the mic. Shaw, if you want to go date 95 men at once, go date 95 men at once. And I want you to come back and tell us how that went for you dating 95 men at once. Let me know if you found one good man in those 95 men and if that worked out for you, okay? Right? I want you guys to understand the easiest way for men to trick you. It's the blessing to the earth for the men. The idea that you as a woman, hey, you're empowered. It's 2024. You can do exactly what men do. And you can go out, have a roster of 10,000 men at once, date whoever you want all at the same time, get attention from all of them, have them all date you at the same time, right? And then that way the men are like, oh, this is awesome. This is so awesome. Because when she dates all of us at the same time, she won't possibly be able to absorb either of us, right? Any of us. And she'll be so distracted by dating all of these men at the same time that we can all slither our way inside of her, get what we want, and then we can be Audi 5000. Okay? I just want to be real with you. We have emotional bandwidth as human beings. Right? I'm saying this because I actually want to help serve you to be able to better gather information. And my main thing for you that I want for you is I want to help you avoid being played by the same men the same ways. Okay? I can't help you do that if you're dating multiple men at once, because all the stuff that we talk about in the Players Club, when we talk about absorbing information, analyzing this, understanding that, asking questions, understanding the truth so that you don't get played by men. All of that is made 10 times harder when you add multiple people into the jar here, okay? You need to understand that you date people and men until they show themselves to not be what you're looking for. I didn't say you're going to be sleeping with those men during that time or that man during that time. But once he shows you he's not who you're looking for, you cut him out of your life and then you become open to dating a new person. You absorb that person. You see how that's working with that person. If that person shows you that they're not who you're looking for, you cut him out of your life and then you move forward to the next person. Okay. Excuse me. Right. You don't want to be spending a whole bunch of time on an ongoing basis dating multiple men ongoingly because you're thinking, oh, but I'm just dating multiple men to see how I feel about those multiple men. But you don't realize you're making it harder to see how you feel about those multiple men because there's multiple men. I can assure you, I'm telling you this from experience. My hardest time, right, trying to understand and evaluate a relationship came when I was trying to date multiple people, thinking that I was doing something by dating multiple people. Figure out who the person is in front of you. If you don't like them, cut them off and then move forward with your life. Nothing wrong with dating people back to back to back when you realize they're not who you're looking for, right? You can still absorb them that way. And remember, you're not supposed to be sleeping and committing yourself to guys who aren't committing themselves to you. So I'm not saying you date someone, sleep with them, and then cut them off, right? You date someone, try to understand them and understand if this is the relationship you even want. If it's not, you cut them off. Why are you dating multiple people if you're only going to end up with one? You're only dating them, right, to see if you like them and actually want to continue on dating them. So why not just date the person, figure out if you want to continue on with them, and then cut them off? Remember, I told you, you can become very easily a breeding ground for emotionally unavailable men or men who just want to have fun. And you're making their life so much easier when you date multiple people. Because when you date multiple people, it's easier to say, oh, I kind of like guy number one, but I don't like this about him. But what I don't like about guy number one, guy number two has. And because guy number two has something that guy number one doesn't have, I'll date both of them. And what guy number two and guy number one both don't have that I don't really like, guy number three has. So by the time I date guy number one, I date guy number two, and I date guy number three, I basically have my perfect man. The problem is you're not going to end up in a relationship with all three guys unless you're polyamorous. If you're polyamorous, like maybe Shah is in our TikTok chat, go ahead, date multiple men. But for most of you, you're not polyamorous. So dating three men to get one good man is not going to work for you. So you need to be properly able to absorb if the one individual man is who you're looking for. Are you following me? Okay, right? Does that make sense? And it's so important to understand that. It's so important to understand that and not make that mistake. I know some of you get angry at that, and I know some of you don't agree with that. You're like, Tomisin, I want to date 10,000 men. Tomisin, I want to date men till my eyes bleed. Please go ahead and do that. If you want my advice on how to avoid emotionally unavailable men, then this is my advice to you. If you think that I'm full of BS and I have no idea what you're talking about, like Shah, I advise you to cut me off, cut my stream off, never listen to me again, never see me again, block me on everything, and go and date 10,000 men, okay? Please, I encourage you to date 10,000 men if you don't believe in what I'm saying. I'm here to share with you my perspective on what I think will actually help you if you want to avoid emotionally unavailable men. There's nothing wrong with if you disagree with me, okay? Right? So, number 1 was to date with purpose. Number 2 is X talk. Number 3, no fake friendships. Number 4, one at a time. Number 5, patterns of behavior. Okay, right? So patterns of behavior is so important because when you're dating guys, see, one of the things that you'll notice, see, I talk a lot about absorbing information and gathering information because information is always king. One of the things you'll notice when a guy is emotionally unavailable, you'll start to notice a lot of inconsistencies in the way that he approaches or treats you based on someone who is supposed to be ready for a full-time serious relationship, okay? So let me explain what I mean. Let me explain what I mean by that, patterns of behavior. What I'm talking about when I say patterns of behavior, let's say for the sake of example, you're with a guy. Let's actually refer to a situation we had yesterday in the Discord, right? So a girl was going to try to go on this church date with a guy. I'm just giving you an example of what we had in the Discord. And she invited this guy to church, and they went on a date before, and it was good on the date, and things were fun and interesting and all that good stuff. Then she invited him on that date to church. When it gets to the day leading up, a couple days leading up to church, he doesn't really message her. He doesn't really reach out. And she's thinking to herself, but I thought we planned to see each other at church and we were going to have a little church date and things like that. And he never messaged. Then she messaged about a day before and said, hey, I feel like we haven't properly planned this church date. Maybe we're just going to have to cancel because like this is very, very last minute. And he says, all right, cool. Yeah, whatever. And she's like, wait, what? That's it? So you're not going to message me leading up to the plan that we had. And now that we have the plan, you're just not going to say anything. You're just going to be like, whatever. That doesn't seem like someone who is actually ready to build a long-term serious relationship. So the reason I bring up patterns of behavior is because remember, when you're dating someone, you're always analyzing their habits and the way they go about stuff, and you're using that as information to determine who they are. Start taking notice of the patterns of behavior that are in line with someone who is trying to build a long-term serious relationship. Because the reality of it is, when someone is trying to build a long-term serious relationship with you, there's nothing wrong if they become busy, but they're going to make you aware of the fact that they're busy. There's nothing wrong if they don't text you for a couple of hours, maybe they got stuff to do. But when people are disappearing on you for a couple of days, that's a clear sign they might have something else going on. I want you to think to yourself, the moment you start identifying qualities or character traits or patterns of behavior that aren't in line with the logical human being who would say, I want to build something with you and be in a serious relationship with you, you need to start identifying that pattern of behavior is actually more in line with someone who's emotionally unavailable than someone who's emotionally available. Because someone who's emotionally unavailable might come and be like, oh, I love you so much and I want to be with you and I want to spend all this time with you for a couple of days, and then a couple of days they go ghost. Or they come and see you and everything is so good and amazing when they come and see you. And then when they're gone from you, you just never hear from them. Okay. And a lot of times that usually means for the guys, right? The guys that can't be consistent with you time and time again, and they just show up and they're really hot for a couple of days and then they're gone and they're cold. A lot of those men are actively emotionally invested in other women, and they don't see, remember, I talked to you guys about emotional bandwidth. See, the same way you can tell when a guy is seeing multiple people or spreading himself emotionally thin, because he doesn't have the same level of emotional investment in you that you have in him, and that you would naturally expect from someone who's saying they want to commit themselves to you. So take notice of that when you're dating people. Take notice as well of the guy you're dating's emotional bandwidth. If he doesn't seem to have a lot of emotional bandwidth left over for you in order to invest in you and care about you and care about how this relationship is going, that's a sign he's emotionally invested in someone else. Because it's natural for people, for example, if a guy, let's say you're dating a guy, right? And in the process of dating a guy, let's say he flops on a date. And he really genuinely didn't mean to flop. It just skipped his mind because he had an emergency to deal with or whatever it may be. He's gonna message you and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I messed up our date that we had planned, and I feel so badly about it. I wanna make it up to you. I apologize for flopping on you. I know I had an emergency and this was going on, and I assure you, I want this and I want to take this serious and I want us to work. Please let me make it up to you. I'm going to take you out for a nice dinner this week. Let's do Saturday. I really care about this and I want this to work. You see, there's a way someone will approach it when they actually care and they have that emotional investment in you. But when someone doesn't care, this is what they'll do when they make a mistake and they flop on the date. Oh, yeah, my bad. I didn't message you. Yeah, my fault. I was busy. And he'll say that 3 days later when you message him and say, hey, how come you didn't show up to our date 3 days ago? Yeah, my bad. You know, I was doing a thing. What were you doing? Yeah, you know, it was a work thing. Yeah, my bad. No sort of care, no sort of remorse, no sort of empathy. You know why that is? When guys are showing a lot of cold, you know, just said it right, a sense of coldness, right? And guys seem to have a lack of empathy with you. That stems from the fact usually that his emotional investment is in another woman, which that's the woman he cares about. That's the relationship and the grass he's trying to water. That's the one where he gets, you know, all confuzzled about and be like, oh, I apologize. My bad. I want to make sure we're good, right? Guys want to make sure you're good and make sure the relationship is good when they care. When they don't care or they're caring about someone else instead of you, they're going to be kind of hands off. They're going to be very aloof, and it's not really going to bother them if you're upset. So take notice of those patterns to say to yourself, oh, yeah, before I even get started building here with you, I'm already seeing the patterns and the sign, because a lot of this stuff, right, this pattern of behavior, by the time you start asking a lot of good questions and things like that, these patterns of behavior will be in conjunction, in combination with all the other stuff that we talked about and all the other information that you gathered. So by the time you start seeing this on an ongoing basis, ding, 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 your alarm bell should be going off and you say to yourself, yeah, you know what, you're not who I'm looking for. Clearly, you've got something else going on. Even if you might not have told me or I might not be aware of it right now, I know for a fact something else is going on. You either have some sort of attachment or some sort of ongoing situation. Perfectly fine, but I'm going to take my ball and go somewhere else because I can't be wasting my time with you knowing that you're not even prepared to build anything with me. Okay? Does that make sense? You don't want that, okay? Atoka says this is dismissive, avoidant behavior. Well, at a certain point, right? Think about this as well. At a certain point, when someone is so avoidant that you can't even build a relationship with them, it's kind of the same thing as being emotionally unavailable, right? If you're so avoidant that it's impossible for anyone to be with you or anyone to build something long lasting with you, it's kind of the same effect as having an ex that you're still in love with, because I need you to be emotionally available enough to care about our relationship so that you can have empathy, so that you can have remorse, so that you can be trying to do better and water this grass and make sure that we're all good. If you're not emotionally there or have the emotional bandwidth to do that, then it does nothing for me all the same. Whether it's because you're in love with an ex, or you still have an ex-girlfriend that you're dealing with, or just because you're so dismissive and avoidant that literally it's impossible to build anything with you, right? Does that make sense, guys? Ivy says, it donates $10 again in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much, Ivy. I appreciate you. And she says, should we call them out on bad behavior? You're talking about if a guy presents to you guys any of these things that we talk about. I just don't think that it's necessary to do that, because by the time you start seeing that, it's a clear sign that it's already happening. So I'll give you an example. A guy who is really dismissing any talk about his ex and he wants to really avoid that, or he wants to do something like build a fake friendship with you so that things don't have to be clear and understood and have boundaries and expectations. By the time you start seeing a lot of the stuff that we talked about here today, you're already in a place with that guy where he's emotionally unavailable. And remember, I said it's not your job to make a guy emotionally available when you identify that he's emotionally unavailable. So it's pointless to call them out, because what are they going to do? They're just going to identify the ways that you identified they're emotionally unavailable, and they're going to try to like pretend that they're not emotionally unavailable and stop doing those things that are so obvious. So now you've just made your life harder, because now the signs that were supposed to be there to help you determine what this is, he's going to like try to erase those or make those harder to spot because you brought that to his attention. Once you start seeing, and the thing about it is, emotionally unavailable men, they're not that good at hiding this. When you get good at absorbing information about people, these type of things become very obvious very quickly, because they start all happening at once, which is why we have this show, because when we talk about it and you listen to it over and over again, it becomes real easy to spot this stuff. Then when you go into your relationships, you're like, oh no, I see this happening. And you don't need to like be like, oh, you're emotionally unavailable, so I'm going to stop talking to you now. Just stop talking to the guy. You understand what I'm saying? There's just no point, because what's going to happen from there? He's not going to become emotionally available because you bring it up. He needs whatever space he needs to get over that situation, and you just allow him the space to get over that situation. Don't be trying to, force guys to become emotionally unavailable, okay? Electric Feel in our YouTube chat. You guys are so generous today. Thank you so much. Electric Feel in our YouTube chat. She donates $50. Let's give a round of applause to Electric Feel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that on YouTube. YouTube chat is so generous. What's going on with you guys on TikTok? No, I'm just joking. Electric Feel, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for that. She just says in her message, we love you. YouTube chat, they be so generous. So generous. All right, guys. So does that make sense to you guys here today? Okay. So these 5, date with purpose, X talk, no fake friendships, one at a time, and patterns of behavior. Nor said we're broke on the TikTok chat. It's okay, guys. It's not that big a deal. I was just making a joke. The YouTube chat is very generous though, so I appreciate them and I appreciate you all. Okay. So next, do you guys have any questions about any of the things, any of the 5 we just discussed? Okay. And if you missed any of the points, you guys can always go onto my YouTube channel and rewatch the points in their entirety. Just type in my name and you can rewatch the points in their entirety in case you missed any of them. And you're like, Tomisin, can you repeat all of them? Okay. Chloe just said, can you repeat all 5 points? They're available on my YouTube. You can go watch it right now, literally right now. Just go on my YouTube. It's right above my head on the top right corner of the screen. Okay. All right. So, with that being said, we're kind of, we're running late on time here. We want to hop right into the next segment, okay? I don't want to waste any more time. You guys know what time it is. If you haven't been here for a while, you don't know about this new segment. But in this new segment here, we react to some videos around town on TikTok, and well, it's mostly on TikTok, and we give some analysis on some of the videos that are going around town here on TikTok. So we got some good stuff to react to here today. Let me pull up my my TikTok here. Okay, we'll pull that up in here. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay. There we go. Make this nice and big for you guys. I know you guys can't see it here. Let me just make sure this is good. Okay, there we go. that's so annoying. Can you guys can't even see that yet. Let me make sure you guys can see that. There we go. Bring this up here. And then let me just go over into my reacts. Okay. Oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. TikTok? Where'd it go? TikTok. There we go. Okay. So we're going to hop right into our reaction section here, where I'm going to start reacting to some of these videos that are going around town. Okay, let's do it. Let's do this thing. Okay. So we're going to hop right into my favorites. I favorited some. Now, some of these are coming directly from our Discord. One of these are going to come from the Discord. Let me see. Where did the one go? Okay, this one comes actually directly from our Discord that we're going to listen to first. You guys can submit questions into our Discord. Not questions, videos that you want me to watch on the show and react to on the show on the Discord in where we have Tomisin Reacts, and I'll react to them. Just send it to me on there, okay? Let me make sure this is turned up so we can hear it. Where'd it go here? It's muted.
Without seeming, at what point can a woman show that she's interested without seeming to be masculine?
Don't offer to pay the check on date 3. What you do is you bring a small gift to him that's $25, $20 or less, thoughtful, considerate, something that he wouldn't get for himself, that is based on his hobbies, his passion. Let's say he loves the Yankees. We're going to get him a Yankee hat or some socks or a shirt or something like that.
Oh, this is cute. I like this.
Yeah, understand this. When you do this, you're letting him know that he's not a bank to you and that you've heard him and that you're thinking about him because he just wants to be considered. You also have to understand that men do not receive presents or gifts. They barely maybe even get a card from their mama. And he will start to think of you as someone who is a potential girlfriend or wife and not just someone that he's hanging out with.
The last person I dated, I got him a vinyl record on our 4th date. I don't know why, but I did it. He brought it up so often and it felt like nothing to me.
It really is nothing, but it's everything to him.
At what point?
Okay, so I'm going to react to this here. And I think... me personally, I don't advise any of you guys to be getting guys gifts, okay? Now, let me be clear. We're talking about a very particular type of situation where don't be getting guys gifts thinking that like getting him a gift is gonna make him like you more. What they're referring to here is how can you show a guy that you may have some interest in him in a subtle way that's not just, you know, being a man and saying, I wanna take you out on a date or something like that. Here's the thing though, with that, and I believe this creator here, like the guy in the podcast, his name is Anwar. What Anwar is really referring to is how can you show a little bit of reciprocated interest with a guy that you're already dating. Okay, so I want you guys to know that nuance because doing that for a guy that you just met or a guy that you just started dating will lead you to Pain Town. And what I mean by Pain Town is you're going to start thinking that doing more for guys at the very beginning is what you need to do to get them attracted to you is only going to lead you to find yourself in relationships with guys who want to utilize you to continue extracting from you without doing anything for you. So let me be very clear because this video was actually put into our Discord chat, which is exactly why I want you guys to understand what it really means, okay? So don't do this for random strangers or guys that you just met. Do this for guys only that either you've been dating and have been showing you some sort of commitment back. Don't just start doing this for random guys. They will figure out that you're going to be doing the most for them and they will utilize you like you wouldn't believe, okay? So this what he's referring to is for a guy you've been dating and on an ongoing basis, and now you want to reciprocate a little bit of that energy back. Don't buy gifts for random men that don't even show you any of that intentionality. Are you guys following what I'm saying? Okay, right? Laura says, okay, so if I've been dating him for 5 months plus, yes, This is something that people that have been in a relationship for like 5 months plus, something like that, where it's been a period of time where he's really shown you he wants this and he wants to build with you. Yes, this is a way to reciprocate that thoughtfulness, okay? In a smaller, more subtle way than, oh, you're the most amazing person on this earth. This is not for people who are going on a first or second date, okay? If newsflash for you, if you don't know his last name yet, you shouldn't be doing any of this, okay? Don't be doing any of this, right? If you haven't met some of his family yet, or his good friends, close friends yet, don't be doing any of this, all right? That does not apply to you. Let me be very clear because I feel like it wasn't clear in the video there, all right? Let's go to our next video that we have here, okay?
If you find yourself often saying he should just know that in your relationship, this is for you. The other day I was going out to lunch with some friends and my partner, and I got all dressed up and I felt really pretty, but he didn't tell me that I looked pretty. And I noticed that as we got to the restaurant, I was starting to feel resentful because I just wanted him to tell me that he thought that I looked pretty. So in the midst of feeling this resentment build up, I took a deep breath, stopped myself, and asked him a question playfully. And I said, "Hey babe, do you think I look pretty today?" And I said, "I really want you to tell me that you think I'm pretty." And listen, in the moment, I definitely felt silly saying it. And then he stepped back, he looked me up and down, he said, "Oh my God, you look gorgeous, you look beautiful, you look so pretty." And instantly my resentment melted away. And we walked into that dinner feeling so connected. I could have easily spent the night resentful, making up stories about why he didn't tell me that I looked pretty, and thinking he should have just known. If you find yourself often saying...
Okay, I actually really like this video that Kelly made here because it really is facts. And this honestly applies to guys as well. But I know that a lot of girls struggle from this because I've heard this from girls as well, even the ones in a relation, me being in a relationship with them. Guys can't read your mind. So there are some times where if there's something you really want, and okay, once again, this applies to people already in a relationship, okay? Sometimes when you're thinking that, hey, your man or your boyfriend should just know that that's already what you want, sometimes they are unaware of that, especially if it's something small like, hey, I just want to be complimented, or I want you to know that I would like to be called pretty today. Sometimes guys aren't aware of that, not because they don't like you and not because they don't want you, but because they're in their own mind thinking, oh, I'm good, so I guess she must be good. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with wanting to be complimented by your man and be called pretty. And sometimes guys don't realize that they haven't externally done that. And you also have to understand, and I'm telling you this as a man, sometimes in our own mind, we see you and we think, wow, you're gorgeous, you're pretty, you're beautiful. But because we're in our own mind and we say that to ourselves, we don't think it's necessary to say that to you because we have done it to ourselves. And a lot of times, especially when it comes to just simple things like compliments, we don't realize that in order for you to know that we feel that way, we have to outwardly express it. So sometimes small things like this are good to mention when you're in a relationship with the man that calls himself your boyfriend, not a situationship, so that he can understand, okay, I actually do think you're pretty and I was thinking that the whole time. I just didn't say it, okay, right? Now, someone said it's giving pick Misha. Like I said, this is what you do with your boyfriend, a man that actually identifies himself as, you know, being with you and says like he's also committed to you, right? You have to understand there is a process of communicating to each other what your needs are, okay? Some of them are going to be smaller that he might not realize, okay? So that's why I want you guys to understand nuance in situations. A guy who's with you might think you're beautiful, but just not know that telling you that on this day would really take you over the moon. Do you understand what I'm saying? That doesn't mean he's a bad person or he doesn't like you because he doesn't say that to you right now in a time where you really would appreciate it. And so sometimes you have to be able to understand that your partner's not trying to hurt you by not saying the thing that you feel is super obvious to say right now in this moment, okay? There's a difference between that and a guy like slapping you in the face and disrespecting you and calling you names, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm just going to withdraw and I shouldn't have to tell him what he needs to apologize for. That's a totally different thing, okay? Then you shouldn't have to be explaining to guys, hey, you did this wrong, and hey, you did that wrong, and hey, you did this wrong. This, what she's referring to here, is communication that is required in a relationship so that you guys can understand each other better and understand your needs better, okay? Right? Best says, thank God I don't live for external validation. Well, of course. And in a perfect world, I know all of you guys would be so evolved that you never need a guy to compliment you. But the reality of it is, I know some of you would love to get a compliment from the man that you're dating, which is not a crime. It's not a crime, okay? What she's referring to here is not a crime, okay, guys? I don't want you guys to think that I'm Mr. Hard Pants, that sounded weird. Hardy pants, where I expect you guys to never be soft or feminine or want to be complimented by the guy that you're in love with and you're dating. Like, let's be for real, okay? Let's go to the next one.
Here's the thing. I could be so into you, and I'll still leave you alone.
And that is why I continue to say texting is not the only way that someone can show their interest in you.
Who is this? Who is this here? Sabrina Zohar? Who is that? She knows exactly what she's talking about. We don't do textaholics around here. Do you hear me, Players Club? We don't do no textaholism in the Players Club, all right? So whatever Sabrina has to say is probably good because she started off by saying texting is a waste of time, essentially. I want you to know that. Don't be spending all your time falling in love over text.
You. A lot of people don't want to fucking communicate all the time. They might be into you, but they don't feel like they need to show it to you every time because like this gentleman goes on to say, it's because I don't need you. I like you. And when you've just started dating somebody, you don't fucking know that person. So why would they start including you in your day-to-day life when they don't fucking know you? So let's learn to chill, sit in the discomfort, figure out that dating is the unknown. There are no guarantees, and it doesn't matter how many times somebody fucking texts you, it's not going to quell that anxiety. Instead, what will is learning to reparent yourself and calm your nervous system and stop expecting other people to.
Here's the thing. I could be so into you.
Okay, she curses a lot. I don't know if I like that, but I do agree with what she's saying. Okay, in terms of like texting is not that big a deal. Okay, right? And let's replay some of what she said here.
Time, because like this gentleman goes on to say, it's because I don't need you. I like you. And when you've just started dating somebody, you don't fucking know that.
Yeah, so you don't want to get into the mind frame that hey, I just started texting you, and because I started texting you, like you are the be all and end all of my life. Remember, I always tell you guys, don't go into your relationships with guys and allow them to feel like they're bringing the sunshine into your life. It's not good. It's not good at all. And because the reason I say that is because the moment you allow guys to feel that way, that they're bringing sunshine into your life and all the happiness, they'll immediately get the ego that, hey, I'm also, if I leave or walk out of your life, I'm walking out of your life with all of your happiness in my hands. And that's a lot of power. And you know what men usually do with all that power? They abuse it. Okay?
That person! So why would they start including you in your day-to-day life when they don't fucking know you? So let's learn to chill, sit in the discomfort, figure out that dating is the unknown. There are no guarantees, and it doesn't matter how many times somebody fucking texts you, it's not going to quell that anxiety. Instead, what will is learning to reparent yourself and calm your nerves.
Yeah. She's basically talking about how to recover from textaholism, okay? And yeah, I don't like all that cursing, but that's what she's essentially trying to say. And calm yourself because you don't know that person, you've never met that person, and you're not living in a Disney princess movie, okay? I know that sounds horrible and that's super shocking and jarring to you, but the reality of it is texting someone you've never met and getting excited about that is a waste of your time because what you're texting and what you're fantasizing about and you're getting all wet and lubricated for is the fantasy of what they're like, not who they actually are, okay? And just continue to realize that I'm texting you to eventually see you in person and use that meeting to judge whether or not I like you, not all this texting BS.
Nervous system and stop expecting other people to.
Yeah, so that is essentially that, okay? Someone says sounds like she needs to calm down. Yeah, you guys know I don't be cursing a lot, cursing out my thing. I think I can get the point across without doing that, but you know, to each his own. So that's perfectly fine. I think I put another video of hers on here because there was a couple titles of topics. I didn't watch them all the way through, guys, but there's a couple titles of topics that I seen that I really like. Let's see if I had another.
Here are 3 signs you're dealing with somebody emotionally unavailable.
Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so let's see what her 3 signs are. And I haven't watched this all the way through, so let's see if her 3 signs match with mine.
And you can misconstrue this as chemistry. It's not. 1, they are always on your mind and you feel like you can't even get through your day without having to talk to them or thinking about them. That's because they're breadcrumbing you and not actually fulfilling your needs. They are starving you from your emotional needs being met. And so they're on your mind all day because you can't even function without thinking about them because you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what the next step is going to be and you don't know what they're thinking. And the reason you talk to all of your friends and family about it is because you don't actually know what they're thinking. And so there's a confusion there. So you keep talking about it to try to make sense of their inconsistency. You get the butterflies or your nervous system starts to flare every time you even see a text from them. That's because they're super inconsistent and you never know when you're going to hear from them. So when you do, you get that dopamine hit and it feeds you just enough to keep you going. Perhaps one of your caregivers was super inconsistent. So thus in your adult relationships, you are reliving that manifestation to hope that you can be chosen and you can be picked by this person. And it rewrites that narrative that you have written as a little kid. But unfortunately, what it actually does is it reaffirms those core beliefs that you're not good enough, you're not worthy because this person isn't picking you. So when they text you, it feels like the high.
Wait, where's number 2 here? I thought, did she not say number 2? Where's number 3? That was number 1. Come on, Sabrina. You got to have structure to this. I thought that was number... Okay, let's keep going.
That you can be chosen and you can be picked by this person. And it rewrites that narrative that you have written as a little kid. But unfortunately, what it actually does is it reaffirms those core beliefs that you're not good enough, you're not worthy because this person isn't picking you. So when they text you, it feels like the highest of highs because you just never know when it's going to come. And 3, you feel...
Wait, did she ever say number... Wait, I must be missing this. When did she say 2?
And so they're on your mind all next. You don't know what the next step is. Keep talking about it. System starts to flare. That's because they're super inconsistent in you going.
I swear she never said 2. Okay, never mind. Did she say 2? She said 2, guys? I was like, I'm confused. Where did she say 2? I was like waiting to cut it off after number 1. But essentially, number 1 in terms of the breadcrumbs and the inconsistency, I would actually say yes and no, simply because yes, someone who's inconsistent with you, like we talked about here, you'll start to notice the patterns of behavior, which is similar to what I discussed. Patterns of behavior, and essentially, like, if you're here to build a long-term serious relationship with me, there's a certain way you're going to care about this relationship, care about me, and tend to this relationship, taking care of it, having empathy, feeling sorry, and having compassion for if you do wrong or do me wrong. You flop on a date, right? You're going to apologize and say, let me make it up to you, right? You're going to try to put your best foot forward. You're going to feel bad if you don't put your best foot forward. These are the type of things someone does when they actually care. But when someone is emotionally unavailable, their mind and their emotional bandwidth, as I like to say, is on something or someone else. So they can't really pay attention to you or have empathy for you or really tend or care about this relationship or be consistent because they don't care enough to. Their mind is on someone else. All right?
Not good enough, you're not worthy because this person isn't picking you. So when they text you, it feels like the highest of highs because you just never know when it's going to come. And 3, you feel so drawn to them. And when you're with them, it's the highest of highs. That's because they're so busy that when they prioritize you or make you part of their life, you feel chosen. And because they're so unclear about what it is that they want, you feel so drawn to them even more because you want to be picked, you want to be chosen, and you want to, again, affirm that core belief. No, I am good enough. Look, somebody like my father or like my mother chose me.
So I will say definitely dealing with emotionally unavailable people can do that to you. I know that this video is titled 3 Signs They're Emotionally Unavailable, but then she goes on to talk about how you'll feel when someone is emotionally unavailable. So it's more like how you'll three ways you'll feel when someone's emotionally unavailable. But that's essentially what that is. It is what that is stemming from, right? Is that when someone is emotionally unavailable, the ways that they'll present themselves to you will be with a lot of disinterest, a lot of coldness, just a lot of lack of empathy for you or just caring about you. Then your response will kind of be fight or flight, where you start thinking to yourself, well, wait, you don't seem to really be that interested in me and you don't really seem to care that much about our relationship. So then I feel the need to step in or step up for you to make you care or to have you see me or notice me so that you can show me the same level of emotional investment that I'm showing you and that I would naturally expect from someone who is emotionally available. So you start to feel like, hey, the more emotionally unavailable you are, the more work I have to do to turn you into someone who is emotionally available. The problem with that, though, is that you can never turn someone into who's emotionally unavailable into someone who is emotionally available. It doesn't work like that. You can't speed someone up to do that more, and you can't, put a magic potion in their mouth and mix it in their drink or mix it in their oatmeal and get them to be emotionally available in the snap of a finger. We don't live in a fairy tale. We live in real life. So people have to do their own separate work in order to become emotionally available on their own, not distract themselves with a new person. Does that make sense? Okay, let's see what else we got here.
Here are my 7 non-negotiables.
It's another Sabrina video. Let's see.
That completely changed my dating life when I started to implement them.
Wait, let's go back. Let's start over again.
Here are my 7 non-negotiables that completely changed my dating life when I started to implement them. Number 1, consistency. I grew up in a household where my father was incredibly inconsistent, and thus I had terrible abandonment issues and a lot of anxiety I had to work through. So now a non-negotiable for me is consistency. The person I go to bed to is the person I want to fucking wake up to. When I see mixed signals, hot and cold, words not matching actions, if it's somebody that I've been dating for a while and this is new, I will have a conversation with them and talk about it. And if it's somebody that is relatively new off the bat, I am out there. I am out before I can even fucking say goodbye. Number 2.
Okay, yeah. So consistency, she said, was number 1, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? To be expecting people in your life to be consistent with you. Also, as a woman, you're gonna be a little bit more emotionally like this, up and down. There's nothing wrong with that. You're a woman, you have the feminine energy. That's how you're supposed to be. Your man is not supposed to be like this, okay? Why? Because he's supposed to be a stable emotional force in your life that you can lean on and be a little bit more emotionally up and down, right? You're supposed to be able to rely on him for that. If the man that you're supposed to be relying on to have some emotional stability is like this all the time, and in his actions, if they're like this all the time, you're gonna be in fight or flight mode literally 24/7. Okay, you don't want that.
See, I grew up in a household where my father was incredibly inconsistent, and thus I had terrible abandonment issues. Station with them and talk about it. Number 2, reciprocity. I don't play the games. This bullshit of playing hard to get and not texting this and not texting that and being scared about saying what you want. No. If somebody likes me, you can show that to me in your actions, and you can show, and I will step up and reciprocate that back to you. I want a tennis match. When I throw the ball, you throw it back to me. None of this shit any other way. 3.
She curses a lot. I don't like all that. But yes, having someone give you the same energy back is what you should be paying attention to. Part of the same reason why like I said earlier, you want to be dating one person at a time, because a lot of times, you won't realize that someone you're dating 3 men or 100 or 1,000 men, you're going to be investing in each of those men emotionally. And it's harder to realize when someone is playing with you and just messing around with you and not taking this seriously when you're dating so many men at once. See, when you're dating only one person at once and you're investing yourself emotionally in that one person, it's very easy to spot someone who's not giving you that same reciprocity, just meaning that same amount of energy back into you as well. Very easy to spot that when it's only one person.
3, open communication and dialogue. Communication in a relationship is literally number 1. So if I feel like I can't express myself, it's not a safe space for me to tell somebody how I'm feeling. Obviously, if it's after a first date, you have to know when and where an appropriate time is, but there should be an open communication and dialogue. The healthiest relationship I've ever been in had the most communication I have ever been required to in a relationship, and that is the only way we're able to move through our shit.
Okay, communication 100% is key. I think that's pretty straightforward. There's a healthy way to communicate your needs, your boundaries as well is very important to communicate. I also think it's really important to communicate your fight language, not just your love language, but your fight language in helping someone that you're in a relationship with understand how you like to be dealt with when you're upset or angry. That's one that I think a lot of people miss. We might have to have a whole show on that because that's really important.
Number 4, handle your fucking emotions. Be an adult. I am not here to be your mother, to be your therapist, or to be your friend. I can call you out on your bullshit if you do something in the moment, but above that, if you can't even handle your emotions, why would I want to be out with somebody that acts like a child, especially towards me or towards other people? If I can handle my emotions, learn how to fucking handle yours.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, you need a guy who's gonna be more like this, not a guy who's gonna be like this all the time in a roller coaster of emotions. It just is not gonna work for you. Okay, you need some space to be able to be like this a little bit, and you need your man to be a stable force in your life that you can rely on. Right? Responsibility and reliability is really big for men because, you know, if they're going to be the head of the household, so to speak, it's super important that they're a force in the children's lives and in your life that you can rely on. Not someone that like you one day you don't know what to expect from him and another day you don't know what to expect from him. That should be a reliable force in your life.
5, you accept me for who I am and vice versa. Way too often I get, well, how can I change them? And how can I deal with this? And what do I have to do? No, at the end of the day, when you meet somebody, you take them for face value. Who they show you they are is who the fuck they are. Stop trying to change them. Stop trying to project onto them. And I will not allow anybody to do that with me. You accept me for who I am when you meet me, or you don't get any further into my life with any other version of me that you want me to be.
Why are her comments turned off for this one? Sorry, you guys can't see that, but her comments are turned off for this. Why would she turn them off for this? Anyways, I agree with that. You have people take you as you are. And if they're not willing to accept you as you are, then that's too bad, so sad for them. Go cry a river. And vice versa, you need to, even more important than that, you need to take people at their word for who they are, okay? And you need to like sit back, relax, and allow people to show you who they are so that you can receive them and not be imagining what they're like, because the fantasy is such a great fantasy to rub one out to. It doesn't really work for you building long term with, because that doesn't help you actually like build with someone real, because you're not with the fantasy, you're with the real person. And so you have to take people as they really are, especially, okay?
6, how they make me feel is a lot more important than how I feel about them. Matthew Hussey talks about this all the time, and it is something that changed my dating world. I don't go out and looking and say, oh, but I felt so much for him about this, because a lot of the times that could be your anxiety, and it could be a lot of triggers, and that could be just a really great facade that they've put on. But what's more important is how do I feel around this person versus how do I feel about them?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because sometimes you can become confused on how you... A guy can come around you, be hot and cold, and make you feel, right? Make you feel really anxious, make you feel like, damn, what is he doing? You're thinking about him all the time. Why is he not texting me? Why is he not doing this? He doesn't seem to be paying attention. You turn into a pick-me, and now he's getting what he wants because you're on your hands and knees in your maid outfit, scrubbing the floor, washing the dishes, and cooking the food all at the same time, giving him a handy and a footy. And it's great for the guys, but at the end of the day, right, you want to know, right, what you're even more should be looking for, because all she's talking about here is understanding how to analyze, not just how do I feel, but how do I feel about you, right? How do I feel towards you? And she's talking specifically about how do I feel you treat me? Like, how does it make me feel, right? And all those things like that, instead of just like, oh, I feel I like you because, you know, I think about you a lot. Right? But how do I actually feel about the way that you treat me is even more important, I think, right?
And last but not least, growth-minded is a must. I am in therapy. I am calling myself out of my shit. I have incredible self-awareness, and I have done the inner child and healing work, and I am not here to be your fucking therapist. Have somebody that you talk to, have a support system, and be doing the work that you need to do so you don't project your past shit onto me.
Okay, the last part I disagree with in a sense that when you are building with a guy, you do want to be the therapist in the sense you want to get him comfortable telling you his truths. See, the mistake there is thinking, I'm not no man's therapist, I'm not no man's therapist. But then, see, this is what the guys do. See, the guys come into your life, and when you're saying, I don't want to hear or deal with any of the stuff you have to say, I'm not here to help you with any of that, they suppress all of it. So when you're building a relationship with them, they start thinking to themselves, okay, I'm going to hide this, suppress this. They don't share any of that real stuff with you. And then down the line, you end up with a man who's emotionally unavailable. You end up with a man who's not prepared for a relationship. You end up with a man who's not intentional in the relationship. Why? Because instead of asking asking him these questions and extracting that information, he suppressed all of that because you said, I'm not going to be your therapist. But now you've inherited a guy who has a whole lot of problems. You just didn't realize that he had a whole lot of problems at the beginning because you didn't want to be his therapist and you didn't want to hear about that stuff. So now, instead of hearing about his problems or these issues, now he's basically was able to hide that and suppress that while you guys build this relationship. But now that you're actually closer to him and spending all your time with him and he's your boyfriend, now you're realizing how many problems he has. I don't advise you guys to be of the mindset that I'm not going to ask questions because I'm not nobody's therapist. If you're someone's therapist, you'll know their deepest, darkest secrets. And who does that really help? If you know someone's deepest, darkest secrets, that helps you. Because now you get to make a decision about the guy that you're dating based on factual, real information about the person you're with, not about the fantasy that you want to rub one out to, okay? Let's go on here. I don't think there's any more from Sabrina. I see some of you guys are like, I'll do another one that's not her.
The guy who...
So this is Steven Speaks. Let's see what Steven Speaks has to say.
The guy who is serious about you starts off giving real effort. All right. Now, I know some of you, I already hear some of you saying in my head, well, a lot of them start off giving effort and they fall off. There's a lot of different reasons why that happens. We're not going to get into all that. Well, actually, no, we're going to get into that for a second. So listen, sometimes, yes, I would argue that in many cases, when the man starts off giving maximal effort for the first month or 2 months or whatever, it is because he may be genuinely into the woman. And somewhere along the line, things go left. It could be going left because he loses interest, but even though he lost interest in being serious with her, he still wants to engage with her, whether that be sexually or hanging out or whatever. So he sticks around even though he no longer puts forth the same effort. Another thing that happens a lot is he makes full effort. You're not reciprocating full effort as well. He becomes tired of this being a one-sided relationship. The guy who is serious about you starts off giving.
Okay. This is a tough one because what he's referring to here is essentially that when he starts to see that you're not giving effort, he starts to pull himself back. And so then it just becomes like a mirroring cycle here.
Start off giving effort and they fall off. There's a lot of different reasons why that happens. Sometimes, yes, for the first month or 2 months or whatever, it is because he may be genuinely into the woman. And somewhere along the line, things go left. It could be going left because he loses interest, but even though he lost interest in being serious with her, he still wants to engage with her, whether that be sexually or hanging out or whatever. So he sticks around even though he no longer puts forth the same effort.
Okay, so that is facts. And so here's the thing. Guys are they're weighing their options, okay? And when I say weighing their options, I mean that they're saying to themselves, okay, I can spend time with her for one of two reasons. Either because I want to sleep with her and, jackrabbiting myself inside of her for 90 seconds is really enjoyable. Or he can say, I want to build with her. Sometimes it might be both, right? That can be amazing as well. But sometimes it goes from I want to build with her to, I'm not really that keen on building with her. Now I just want to sleep with her. Now, obviously, like he said, that can happen for many reasons. Maybe something happened, a situation, maybe you're emotionally unavailable, whatever it may be. And now he says, I'm not going to put forth that same effort. It's the same reason why you want to, when you're dating guys, you want to be on an ongoing basis, gauging their interest, gauging their level of effort, gauging the amount of work they're putting into the relationship, okay? And you want to be hyper aware of that. It's precisely why I told you all, don't date multiple men at once. See, think about how nuanced all this stuff is that he mentioned and that I'm mentioning now. You got to gauge this. You got to be looking out for this. Some guys might start reciprocating and then all of a sudden they fall off a cliff. They're showing a little bit of interest and now they're not showing enough interest. Think about how nuanced and how subtle all of these things are over the course of time. Are you going to be able to notice all of the subtleties and the small, minute changes in his behavior and his approach if you're dating him and he's guy number 35? No, it's going to be impossible to be able to see all of that happening in real time. But you are capable of absorbing that information, but this is something you always want to be gauging. Part of the reason why you want guys to be pursuing you so that you can be gauging what they're ready to do for you and their level of interest. You don't want to be in a position where you're saying, okay, I need to do more right now to stimulate you having more interest in me. Because some of you guys come to me or you watch the show thinking that the advice that I give you is going to help a guy who's not interested in you show interest in you. And in the reality of it is that's not how that works, because if he's already overlooking you and doesn't even want to be with you or build with you, there's nothing you can do, no amount of backflips, no amount of makeup, no amount of getting a nice, amazing dump truck or wearing your tightest pair of jeans to be able to like get him to have interest in you if he doesn't already have interest in you for real, okay? So never mistake that or confuse that.
Another thing that happens a lot is he makes full effort. You're not reciprocating full effort as well. He becomes tired of this being a one-sided relationship.
So this is actually ties into, remember how the first video that we watched here talked about how a small gift to give a guy can be something to reciprocate, you know, showing him that you have interest in him as well. That's good, like I said, for someone you've already been dating so that you can also show him, because you don't want it to be forever that as you're dating a guy, it's just like, oh, we're dating each other and I never show you any effort and you do everything, because that's obviously going to become tiring after a while. So as it builds up and it's continuing to be serious and he's taking it serious, you also do small things to reciprocate that effort or reciprocate your appreciation for him, right? You more want to be showing your appreciation for him. You want to tell him you appreciate him, but like this should be happening over time when he actually acknowledges himself to be your boyfriend. You're not trying to show appreciation for a man you just met. He has to earn that. But as he earns that, then you show him appreciation for doing the things that you appreciate. Does that make sense to you guys?
Be careful who you start dating. Because some people aren't looking for love. They're looking for help.
Okay, Steven Speaks, that's fast. That's fast. That's fast.
Now, I've used that quote many times over the years. And some people take issue with it. Because they say, well, aren't we supposed to be helping each other? What's the problem? Shouldn't we want help? Yes, we should. We should be pouring into each other.
Yeah.
But when people are focused on finding help and not love,
okay,
where they're looking to take, not give.
Okay.
Because that's the difference. Love is about giving, pouring into each other.
Okay.
Whereas the person who wants to use you just wants to take from you.
Okay. So what he's actually, I think what he's actually trying to refer to here is not like help in the sense of like, hey, oh, can you give me $1,000? He's also talking about help in the sense that like when someone comes or is building a relationship with you or is pretending to, right? But they're not actually building with you because they want to build a life with you. They're pretending to build with you because they want to extract something from you, whether that be emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually, whatever it may be. They might be down bad. Whatever you can do so that they can extract something from you, do something for them. Those people going into a relationship with that mindset will only be trying to take from you, right? And they'll suck the life out of you. And the thing about it is when someone is going into a relationship and all they want to do is take, you're always going to feel emotionally and spiritually drained of that relationship and with that person. Why? Because they're extracting. And in a natural relationship, I do for you, you do for me, I pour into you, you pour into me, we fill each other's cup, and we're both good and whole together. But in an unnatural relationship where one person is taking and never giving, it's going to feel like I take, it's mine now, I run away, I utilize all I took, then I come back, I ask for more, I take again, run back, take again, and you're constantly trying to fill your own cup up while you give some to me, right? You have a cup that's full and I'm taking from your cup, now my cup, I run away with that, and now you're trying to fill your own cup up because I'm not doing anything, and before you can even fill it back up, I take more, and eventually your cup is empty and you're struggling to fill up your own cup because all you've been doing is giving to me and all I've been doing is taking taking from you with no intention of giving you anything in return, because I'm here for help. I'm here to make my life better, but not increase the quality of yours. Beware of people that will come into your life looking to only take and extract and never try to increase the quality of your life. Those are the number one people. See, I'll actually let you in on a little secret here. The number one people looking for just help or looking to just take from you and never give anything to you will always be complaining that you're not giving and doing more, right? So a guy that will come into your life and say, so you're really not going to sleep with me on, it's week number 4, right? Like, come on, like we've had some laughs, we've had some fun. You're telling me you're not ready to sleep with me like by week number 4. Oh my God, took you on this date and, we did all this and, we had fun and now you're not ready to sleep with me by now. Like, what else I got to do? Like, I get like it's consistency, but like, bro, like we got to do something, right? Those are the type of people, they're just here to continue taking, and they get frustrated when you're not giving a lot, right? Giving the most you can possibly give, because they want to get quickly into the dynamic where they can take and receive and do nothing.
The man doesn't see or feel the need to step up and be better because he starts to believe you ain't going nowhere. Ooh. He starts to believe that regardless of what he does, you're going to stick around. And this becomes especially true when he's already messed up many times or he's done inappropriate things and you keep taking him back. He has no reason to think that now you're going to just up and one day walk away, which is why you'll see these situations where the woman finally gets fed up, finally says enough is enough, and the dude is shocked. He's like, I can't believe it. To the point where he's mad at her. And you would think as a woman, you're like, how could you not expect for me to at some point get sick and tired of this and leave you? But to him, it was like, you ain't leave all those other times.
Yeah, so that's facts. I always tell you guys, the number one thing you want to worry about in your relationships, not how much he likes you, not if he thinks you're cute, not if he thinks you have the biggest dump truck or the most voluptuous yitties. You worry about 2 things: respect and fear. He will respect you if you set boundaries and you abide by those boundaries and rules, and you don't change those boundaries or rules for anyone. And he will fear you when he realizes that you're more than willing to walk away from him if he doesn't meet your expectations for what you expect a man to be if he's going to have access to you. When guys have respect for you and fear for you, they will begin liking you more, showing more interest in you, and treating you like a princess. When they have no respect or fear for you, they will have no reason to treat you like a princess, because they'll say to themselves, why does it even matter? Because if I treat her like a princess, she gonna be with me. If I treat her like the garbage man, she gonna be with me. If I treat her like a peasant, she gonna be with me. So why would I go the extra mile of treating her like a queen and a princess when I could treat her like a peasant, like she's the scum on the bottom of my shoe, and still get the same access to her? I'll just treat her like a peasant. It's free, it's easy, and it doesn't require any work. Okay? Don't let men come into your life thinking that they're the be all and end all of your world, that they bring the sunshine and they make your world spin. They will use and abuse you. Okay? Let's go to the next one we have here.
Girl,
oh, this is Anwar.
Whatever you've been taught about dating, I want you to do the complete opposite of it. Why do I say this? Because most of the advice, the programming conditioning that you're taught in Disney movies or rom-coms...
What did he just say? He just talked about what I talk about. Your Disney princess syndrome. Get rid of it. It's going to hurt you in your dating life.
Wrong and keep you disempowered. So I wanted to share with you what I've learned as a dating coach for 13 or 14 years now. And as your fairy godbrother, what I have learned that helped my clients go from, upset and frustrated and single to booed up, happy, and ready to rock and roll, because they've learned how to do it differently for a different result. You got to do the opposite. So what does this mean? It means that, girl, if you have butterflies, that is a bad sign. That's a stress response. And you shouldn't be feeling that with a guy. And if you do, he's not it. And if he were it, you would be with the guy that is giving you butterflies, but you probably aren't. Number 2.
Yeah, so I would agree that the butterflies thing usually actually stems from the fact that the guy giving you the most butterflies is giving you the most anxiety. So you're thinking in your mind, hey, I like this guy a lot and I think about him a lot because I really like him. In reality, you think about him a lot because he gives you the most anxiety, but a lot of times you get that confused in your mind. And so you're saying to yourself, I want to be with this guy because I like him a lot, not realizing you don't actually like him a lot. You just are addicted to the highs and lows and the dopamine hit that you get being with him, because it's a lot more euphoric to be with someone that you have been thinking you weren't going to be with or was making you feel horribly, because when you contrast those feelings, it's really intense. So now you're thinking, oh, I must really like you because when I'm with you, it feels like I'm doing a drug. In reality, it's just the process of that super high and that super low that you're like, damn, this feels like a movie, right? Your life is not a movie. Your life is a real life.
If you are having sex with guys because you think that they're going to like you more when you do that, please understand that they're actually going to like you less, because chemically their bonding hormone, their vasopressin, is going to decrease, which is going to make them want to disconnect with you. 3.
Okay, yeah. Don't ever date a guy, or not date a guy, sleep with a guy thinking that sleeping with him is going to be the key to getting him to be interested in you. Please never do that. I know some of you on the younger side might think that that's the key to getting him to be. Never. You need to be focusing on what your relationship. I always tell you guys, order of operations. Do things in an order of operations. Sleeping with him is one of the last things you do in the order of operations. Always be focused on, if you have issues and problems, solving them at the beginning, or figuring out what your homeostasis state is or how you guys are going to work together or what your dynamic is at the beginning. Sleeping with him doesn't change anything. In fact, a lot of times it makes it feel more disconnected, like you mentioned.
If a guy is calling you unscheduled, he doesn't care about you. He's not thinking about you and prioritizing your convenience. He's thinking about what's convenient for him, and he's probably not the guy for you. 4.
He calling you after the club. He down to a bottle of 1942. He got that Casamigos in him. He got that Henny in him. He's dancing in the club. It's 7 p.m. Friday, 95 degrees. I ain't got I won't lie, that Glorilla song hard, okay? He's dancing in the club to that. He work. You see me? I be work. And then he calls you up at 3 a.m. after he finishes at the club. Oh, girl, y'all, I'm trying to... Girl, y'all, I've been thinking about you all night, y'all. I was at the club. I'm trying to see you, shawty. Like, what you saying, y'all? I know it's late, and it's like, but like, yo, I'm trying to pull up on you, y'all. The way you be making me feel, I gotta feel up on you again. You know how we be having a good. He don't actually like you, okay? It's a nice play, okay? Sounds good in a teen drama, but those unscheduled calls don't mean he actually likes you.
4. If he is making moves on you on the first date, he's probably grooming you, which means that he is not being respectful of your boundaries. As someone who gets women into relationships every week, oftentimes I hear, he didn't make a move on me until day 2 or 3 or even 4. Those guys overly respect your boundaries. That's husband material.
I would agree with that. Guys who are, I mentioned this actually on yesterday's show, guys who are planning on being intentional with you and have no problem building with you, they have no problem with you guys being in a relationship and understanding that you want him to be patient with you on certain things because you're not ready for him right now. See, if I'm here to be invested in you for the long term and you tell me you're not ready for something right now, well, that's perfectly fine, because it's fine. I'm going to be here still down the road. So if you're just not ready for it now and I'm still going to be here a couple months from now, cool, that's fine. We'll just wait till you're ready. If you're not going to be ready, if I'm not going to be here months from now and you're telling me that you're not ready to sleep with me right now, then I'm going to say to myself, wait a second, can we speed this up? Why are you not ready? How can we make you ready? I don't have time for this. Let's get this going, right? Because I'm anxious knowing that I'm only here for a limited amount of time and I got to speed this up and get this going as soon as possible.
Number 5, if you are thinking that you need to be some guy's piece, don't do it, girl. You want to stress him out. Why do I say this? Because when you stress a guy out, his vasopressin will increase and he will actually feel more bonded to you. So when you hear a guy say, be my piece, girl, don't be his piece. stress him the hell out.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I tell you guys all the time, guys are saying that they're looking for peace, and sometimes you guys take that as, oh, they're looking for me to just shut the hell up and not say anything and not address anything. No, they're not looking to step all over your boundaries and have you not say anything. When they're talking about peace, they're talking about the peace of being with like a woman that they love, that loves them, and all that good stuff that comes with like a long-term serious relationship. Not the idea that like if you just don't say anything and don't address anything, that's peaceful. No.
Next, women are the leaders in their relationships.
100%.
I know a lot of people are like, men are the leaders. No, girl, they're not. You are the emotional leader. You create the emotional depth of your relationships, and you set the pace of the relationship.
What? He be listening to my show? Anwar be listening to my show? What's going on here? No, that's what I be telling y'all. You set the pace of the relationship. Why? Because it's your job to say, hey, I'm either ready for this or I'm not ready for this. See, when guys are intentional, they're going to try to push things forward. Nothing wrong with that. Now, as they push things forward, you decide, is this what I'm ready for or not? I always tell you guys, even a guy that likes you or is trying to build with you, they might still try to sleep with you. And it becomes your job to say, no, that's not what I'm ready for, or I'm not willing to do that. And when you say no, the guys who are mature and are here to build with you for the long term, they'll have no problem with that, and they'll have no problem with respecting that boundary, okay? But there's even, there even are some guys who will try it, right? All guys will try it just to see if they can. And it's not their job to necessarily just say, oh, I'm not going to try it, right? It's your job to say, hey, if I'm not ready for that, then I'm not ready for that. And I'm not going to pretend I'm ready just because you want me to be ready, okay? Guys also, as weird and strange as it sounds, they want to be told no. I know that sounds horrible and that sounds really weird. They love being told no because it shows them that they have to respect you. And when they respect you like that, they begin to like you more. Okay, I know that sounds really weird. I promise you it happens though.
Based on your boundaries. I always say it like this. If men are driving the car, you are either the go pedal or the brake pedal, or you are the woman in the passenger seat that has a GPS and creates the direction of where the car is going to go. Nothing happens without you. This is important because I want you to stay empowered in your love life. Next, what I also want you to know is that the days are gone where you are only dating one guy at a time. You're going to need to date at least 3 guys at a time. I call it Olympic dating. I want you to date a gold medalist, a silver medalist, and a bronze medalist.
Oh, boy.
And see who wins. Yeah?
Oh, boy.
Also, I want you to date based on compatibility, not chemistry.
We have to pause here. Oh, boy, Anwar, I thought you were listening to my show. Okay, let's address something very important, okay? What he said here in terms of pacing the relationship and all that stuff like that was great. Here comes the part where I disagree. Nothing wrong with us disagreeing. You might agree with Anwar and you might agree with me. Here's the thing though. What he's not taking into account, in my estimation, is the fact that all of the stuff that he just talked about, setting the pace, and all the stuff that he just mentioned that is good advice to have in a dating stage, knowing what you want, understanding this about men and that about men and all that good stuff, that is made 10 times harder when you're Olympic dating like he just described. Why? Because how are you supposed to have the emotional bandwidth to see all of that in each man that you're dating and identify all of those things in each man that you're dating at the same time? Okay? Not that it's impossible, but you make your life so much harder to be able to see. He just mentioned, he's in this video, he's mentioning like 10 different things. So think about it. If you're someone who's not nuanced and doesn't know how to identify those things already, how are you possibly supposed to implement all of those things at the same time with multiple men? It becomes really hard to soak in. Is this moving in the right direction? Is this going where it's supposed to go? Is this working out? Is he doing what I expect him to be doing in a relationship? And it becomes a lot harder to identify that when you're dating multiple people at once. If you noticed, with everything that he explained here, he explained it in detail and why it's important. But when it came to dating multiple men at once, he didn't explain how that actually benefits you. And this is what upsets me a little bit, okay? I understand Anwar's trying to do his best, but this makes me mad a little bit because why are you recommending them do something and then you're not explaining to them how it actually benefits them? Okay, let's go back.
Next, what I also want you to know is that the days are gone where you are only dating one guy at a time. You're going to need to date at least 3 guys at a time. I call it Olympic dating. I want you to date a gold medalist, a silver medalist, and a bronze medalist and see who wins.
How does that actually benefit you, though? He just said, see who wins. So you're only going to end up choosing one man. He said, date a gold medalist, date a silver medalist, and date a bronze medalist. Okay? If someone's a gold medalist and they're actually the person you're looking for, why not just date that person? Why date a silver medalist who is kind of a little bit what you're looking for? And why date a bronze medalist who's kind of a little bit less of what you're looking for? Okay? Why don't we write down in our notebook exactly what we're looking for? Then when we date, we identify if that person is a gold medalist and then we continue dating them. If they show themselves to be a bronze medalist, then we throw them to the side. We don't worry about them and we date the next person. Why date multiple people to feel better about yourself or feel like you're doing something or getting somewhere when you can accomplish that same goal dating one person at a time? And the benefit, notice I said the benefit, okay? Notice he didn't mention a benefit in his. The benefit that I'm discussing in mine here is that the benefit is that when you're able to date one person at a time, it's easier to absorb information, understand what's going on in that relationship, and know how to proceed, right? And know also if someone is not who you're looking for. Unless I'm mistaken or I'm confused here, and some of you might be saying, oh, I disagree, I don't understand that, you should date multiple people. Explain to me what is the specific unique benefit of dating multiple people at once. If you guys or anyone that says that can explain to me a specific unique benefit to dating multiple men at once at the same time, then I might say, okay, that makes sense. But if you guys are just saying date multiple men at the same time because 2024 and because it's a new world, that don't make no type of sense. Okay, I'm a very logical, structured person. I don't have a problem saying that something is better than the other, but you're gonna have to actually explain why that benefits you. If your explanation for why dating multiple men benefits you because that's just how the world is nowadays and it makes it easier for you, that's not a real answer, okay? Because that's not, you're just saying that because, you know, you like to date multiple men instead of dating one man. Because the reality of it is, if you're only going to end up with one man, you don't have to date multiple men to know the one man you're going to be with. And in fact, you're only jumbling up your mind and misunderstanding information and making it harder to absorb information by dating multiple men. It just doesn't make sense. Okay. Someone said save time. Perfect. I love that answer. Okay. So if you're saving time, then right, you're only going to date one of those men. So how are you saving time by dating more men who are not what you're looking for? Isn't that in fact doing the opposite and wasting time? Because you would date multiple men for multiple times if you're like, oh, you're kind of who I'm looking for, but I'm dating a whole bunch of guys at the same time, so maybe we'll date a little bit more. And then you date guy number 1, guy number 2, guy number 3, guy number 4, guy number 5, and all of these men are guys who you're not looking for. How is that saving time? You're wasting more time dating more men who are not who you're looking for. Why don't you get good at being able to analyze men quickly and know the exact type of guy you're looking for, where you would like to find that guy, or the type of interest you would want to share that with the guy you're looking for? Your options are really narrow, but when the guy you're looking for actually walks into your life, you don't have to waste a whole bunch of time deciding if guy number 35 is who you want because you met him at a bar, but you're not sure about him, or guy number 55 is who you want, right? It makes it a lot easier with your options and what you're looking for when you're dating with intention, and you just date the men who you feel are good candidates. And until they show themselves to not be a good candidate, you continue dating them. And if they show themselves to not be who you're looking for, then you immediately cut them off. See, this is the problem. Dating multiple men makes it easier to not cut people off. That's the thing that you guys like, right? When you're dating multiple men, it's a lot easier to say, I'll just date guy number 1, guy number 3, and guy number 4. None of them are really exactly what I'm looking for, but I'm dating multiple men, so it doesn't really matter. So you don't really have to say to yourself, I'm going to cut you off because you're not who I'm looking for. You actually, and the answer where you guys said save a lot of time, you actually save more time dating one person at a time and then saying to yourself, as soon as you're not who I'm looking for, you're done. And it's amazing too, because your standards become a lot higher because you're not willing to waste time on one individual person who's not who you're looking for. It's easier for you to waste time when when you're dating multiple people, but there's still some of them aren't who you're looking for.
Yeah. Also, I want you to date based on compatibility, not chemistry. Chemistry is dangerous because guess what? The toxic and narcissistic guys can have chemistry with anybody, and you're gonna think that y'all are vibing because y'all have great chemistry. No, he has chemistry with everybody. You wanna prioritize compatibility, emotional intelligence, right? Respect of boundaries, nurturing, attention, right? Unconditional love. Those are boyfriend skills that I want you to be evaluating. Chemistry fades within 18 months chemically. I want you to be dating for 30 to 40 years from now, not just because he's hot right now or that y'all are vibing. Now, this is very different than maybe what you have been taught before.
Okay, so actually I agree with everything except for the dating multiple people at once. I just can't get down with that because I just don't feel like that's been I couldn't possibly, from my own experience in my own life, I couldn't possibly tell you guys that is a good way to go, knowing that there is no real benefit for you. Because when you guys ask me, okay, Tomisin, what's the benefit of us dating 30 guys at once? I'll be like, honestly, I don't know one. It just sounds more fun than dating one guy. So that you guys know, I like to actually help you, and I can't just give you guys advice without actually real basis of how it'll help you. But in terms of chemistry here, I do believe that chemistry will, compatibility is more important to look for than chemistry, because people who are charismatic are good at having chemistry with anyone, like he mentioned, okay? That's the whole point of charisma, is that you're able to get along with anyone in any situation, make yourself interesting and fascinating, and have people talk about themselves, and they'll enjoy their conversation with you. Being compatible is more specific to the unique qualities that you have and how they intertwine with me and who I already am. See, compatibility requires self-awareness, and then when you're meeting people, you're using your own self-awareness to understand, what do I work best with? So I'll give you an example of compatibility. So let's just say, for the sake of example, you're someone who is a neat freak. You have an OCD where you have to have everything spotless, and if something is not spotless or unclean, you really can't stand that, and it causes you to be super agitated. That self-awareness means that when you go out and you're dating people, you probably should be really aware of if that person lives a messy life or lives a clean life. Because if there's someone that you really love talking to them and they're really fascinating and they have a huge long schlong, but they're messy as hell, to the point where every time you come over to his place, there's garbage everywhere, stuff in his closet and things like that, that's a compatibility issue. Because when you start living with that person, they're gonna be so messy, you're gonna lose your mind. So it's great that he has a long schlong and he can make you laugh. That's chemistry. But compatibility is the fact that when you go to his house, it's so messy that you can't even think straight, and that's not something you can operate in. So you need to be self-aware enough to know, are me and this person compatible? One of the other reasons why I say date one person at a time, because it's a lot easier to see if you're compatible with someone when it's the only person you're paying your attention and your mind to. A lot harder to realize that when guy number 1 seems a lot like guy number 11 and a guy number 12 and guy number 3, and now you're confused on which guy is which and which guy you're the most compatible with, okay? Right? You have to be self-aware first, know what you're looking for first, and then see who fits that already existing criteria. Not dating to see who's the best man. Because think about it like this as well. If you're dating to see who's the best man at the time of the 3 or the 4 that you're dating, you might still end up getting with a garbage man because you're only dating the best out of that group. What if that group is a garbage group? What happens then? You end up with the gold medalist of the garbage men? Why not have your already existing criteria of what you need and require, and then you figure out in the process of dating which guy fits that criteria, not who's the best out of the group. You can be with the garbage man who's the best out of the group. How about you find the one man who fits your criteria of what you're looking for? See, the harder thing to do is create your criteria, know within yourself what you're looking for, and see who fits that. That's the hardest thing to do. The easier thing to do is just say, I'll date 20 men and I'll see which one I like the most out of the 20 men. But if all the 20 men are trash men who will cheat on you, well, okay, so you still got a trash man who will cheat on you. He's just the best out of those 20 trash men. Congrats. Okay. I don't want you guys doing that because I don't think that really serves you. Okay. Does that make sense? Right. Mammy says it's the continuous selection until we find the best. Tom said, I agree. And I want you guys to do a continuous selection until you find the best. All I'm saying is do that selection one by one by one. Date, figure out if you like the guy, if you're compatible with him, if this is going to work. If the answer is no, cut him off. Don't speak to him again. Date the next guy. Figure it out. If you like him, all that good stuff, then date the next guy. Okay, right? Don't be doing this thing where you're dating multiple men in multiple ways. Just date one at a time. Now, I know part of the reason some of you guys don't like that as well is because using dating apps is not really congruent with dating multiple men at the same time. See, because when you date guys on dating apps, you swipe right on one, you go out on a date with him, he's probably don't really have chemistry with him, whatever, then you go out and you date another guy. Or maybe guy number one, you kind of had a little bit of chemistry with, then you meet another guy on Bumble, you go out on a date with him. Now guy number one's still, kind of going on, and then guy number two's over here. Now you meet another guy on Hinge and another guy. See, dating apps are very conducive to you dating all these men at the same time, right? And it makes it a lot easier to go on multiple dates with multiple guys that you may or may not have interest in, okay? Waste of time. Waste of time. Don't do that. Don't waste your time doing that. Let's figure out your criteria. And also, let's figure out how to meet the guy that you're looking for in the place that you're looking for, okay? So what are your interests? If you want to meet a guy who shares your same interests, maybe you're passionate about painting, why don't we get you to go to a paint class and let's see if you meet a guy there that you like and you find interesting. At least then you can build off the chemistry or the compatibility of sharing the same interest. Because dating a whole bunch of low quality men, yeah, it's way better to date multiple men when you're dating low quality men, okay? Way easier to date one man when you're finding men in places that you spend a lot of your time and you have shared interests with, okay? Someone said no Discord today. No, that's not what it is. Okay. We just spent a lot of extra time on this. It is time though. I know we went a little bit over time. It is that time though. All right. You guys know what time it is. I don't want to waste any more time. We went super overtime today. It's okay. We having fun today. It's about that time. Can you let me know in the chat what time it is? Okay. Someone says that is our favorite segment. What? This time or the time that we just had? Okay. Because this is a different time. We hopping into a different time. Okay. The Discord team. Yeah. All right, chat. Let's hop into our Discord. We damn near have a 3-hour show nowadays with all this stuff we got to talk about. Damn. We going crazy with it. Okay. Our third segment of the day. It is Discord time where we have all of our amazing Players Club members. They send into the Players Club Discord their questions of, what was that message on there? Their questions of all of their relationships and situationships, and I answer them live on the show. So you have multiple options to send in your questions. The first way to send in your question is by sending it into our relationship advice free version here, where you can send in your question and I answer it live on the show. You just have to make sure you format it the right way and I'll answer it live on the show. Now, I'll warn you, when you send in your question into the free section, it is first come, first serve, and I do have to go by the oldest questions first, okay? So that means if you send in a question today, It's going to be about a month before I'm able to get an answer to you, because I have to go by all these highlighted ones, which I haven't answered yet. Now, you do have multiple options here in order to send in your question, because I know some of you are so impatient that you don't have time to wait and you don't have time to waste waiting for me to answer your question. So you have a second option, which is to send in your question to Relationship Advice Premium, where I answer it, and it's like a VIP pass at a theme park. You get to skip the line and you get to get your question answered before all the other people in our chat. Now, if you're so nervous that you don't want to ask your question in either of these, oh, by the way, to send in your question, all you got to do is go into the link in my bio on TikTok, go into the Discord, or if you want to donate to get into Relationship Advice Premium, all you got to do to access it is to donate to the show through the same link in my bio or the link in my description where it says Relationship Advice Premium. You donate to the show, and when you donate to the show, you put in your Discord username and the title of your question, and you ask your question, and then I'm able to verify that that's you, and I answer it live on the show because I can see the notification on my phone that that's you. And all that good stuff. Okay, so that's how we like to do it here. Now, if you're someone who's like, Tomisin, I love you so much, and I would love to ask you a question, but I just I don't want to put my business all out there for you to read it out on the show. That's perfectly fine. I also have an option for you guys in my link in my bio or in my description where you can ask your question in a private manner. You fill out a form there, you donate to the show, you ask your question in a private manner, and I answer it to you via email, and I send you a voice message back fairly promptly. I'm a little bit behind now, but it doesn't take me any more than 7 days to answer, usually like 3 or 4 days, okay? So there it is here, and we're gonna start off with Lima, who is our premium relationship advice question today, and we're gonna see what Lima has to say. So she says, navigating emotional confusion in a casual relationship. Lima says, hey, Tomisin, sorry in advance. English is not my first language. I met a 38-year-old man. I'm on Raya. Raya is a dating app, right, guys? I forget. It's a dating app for Christian people, right? Or I don't know. For a specific type of people, right? Oh, no. Is Raya the one where it's for like people who have a lot of status? Is that what Raya is? Like people who are like rich or celebrities and stuff like that? Let me know in the chat if it's that one. A CEO, I think that's what that one is. It's the dating app for like the really like high net worth people. He suggested we meet up and spend a day together with lunch, a pool session, and a Sunset Harbor tour with his friend and his girlfriend. Okay. We had a conversation about commitment, marriage, and children. I realized we didn't share the same values or ideas. He isn't interested in committing, marrying, or having children, while I feel the opposite. Lima, I feel like that's really the end of the conversation there. If you're 23 and you want to get married, have children, and you want commitment, and the guy that you're dating is not ready for commitment, marriage, or having children, like that's all she wrote. I told you guys earlier, you have to start accepting people for who they are. So I know that you have more to your message here, but like once you realize you have that much of a difference between what you want and what he wants in a relationship, like it's done. Like you're not going to convince. Let me let you guys in on a secret. If you're dating a 38-year-old man, okay, even if you're dating a 28-year-old man, at this point in his life, he is hard in stone about what he wants. Meaning, if he's, starting off this relationship with you, and he's saying he doesn't want commitment or marriage or children at 38, it's done. He's not going to change. You're not going to do anything to get him to change. You're not going to change his mind. He's not going to jackrabbit himself inside of you. And when he feels how good you feel, now as his mind's going to change, it's done. He's already set in stone for what he wants, and you're not going to teach him new tricks now. So I say that to say, don't waste your time continuing to date a guy who already told you he's basically not what you're looking for. Okay, I honestly mean that. I let him speak without sharing my thoughts. This is where you kind of say, if you're dating one person at a time, this is where you say immediately, we're opposites in what we want. Have a fun first date for the rest of the date, and then realize to yourself, it's done. Like there's nothing left there in that relationship. I just mean that honestly. Okay. I let him speak without sharing my thoughts. We finished the day around 1 to 2 a.m. So that was a long date there. Okay. He was a little drunk, but aware. And I asked if I wanted to sleep at his place since it was late. I said no, and he promised nothing would happen, especially since he hadn't been pineapple-y with me all day. Later, he texted me suggesting another boat day the following week, but this time with more friends. To be honest, I didn't like the vibe. Nobody paid much attention to me. At one point, he was talking to them and naturally complimented one of the girls, but she gave me a dirty look, staring at me up and down. I didn't say anything, but I sensed a strange tension, like everyone in their friend group might have slept with one another. Okay. Until then, he still wasn't pineapple-y with me, but once we got in the water, I don't know how to swim, so he held me. He told me he was hard because of me and asked if I wanted to see. I said yes. Okay. On our third date, that's just okay. On our third date, we talked about his last relationship. He made it clear his last real one was 8 years ago. And I realized that he probably wasn't going to commit to me either. Kind of like he said on the very first date. I was initially into him, but after hearing that, I started feeling disgusted. When he hugged me or touched me, I just felt like an object. After that meeting, he invited me for another boat day, but I refused, even though I wasn't with the same group. Sorry, it wasn't with the same group. I don't like going places where I'm not appreciated. So I think this is a screenshot. What the hell is this? I think it's time for the medication. Less emotional, more rational. I want to watch a movie tonight again. Don't worry, I can never be emotionally attached to you. I just like playing with your hair. What is this? What is this supposed to be? What was that? He sent you a Spotify link. I'll add it to my list later. I find your thoughts interesting, and even if I don't share them often, I respect your way of seeing things. I think it's important that everyone follow their own path. What's this show called? Diary of a CEO, The Canceled Professor. Husbands are more, what is that, dangerous? I don't understand what you're sending me here. What was the point of these? He kept suggesting activities, but I kept declining. Eventually, he stopped messaging me for about a week. At first, I didn't care, but suddenly I couldn't stop thinking about him. See, I know that we talked about this already before, but like this is actually why I say just date one person at a time. Because you guys think that I mean like, oh, you're going to have to waste so much time dating one person after another after another. Yeah, you might have to date new people, but the reality of it is you only have to date them once to realize they're not compatible with you, and then you can go on and date the new person. All I'm saying is like cut it off so that you're not wasting time. See, this is actually really funny. Lima is wasting so much more time dating a guy who's already like made it clear that he's not what she wants. See, if Lima was just real with herself about writing down what she's looking for, she kind of knows what she's looking for. It's actually really easy on one date to hear a guy talk about his life and what he wants and realize, oh, you're not what I'm looking for. Okay, perfectly fine. But like, there's no reason at all why this should have went on past the first date where he said he's not ready for commitment, not ready for marriage, and he doesn't want children. and you're ready for commitment, you want to get married, and you want children. Like, you only got to go on one date with the man to know that he's not who you want to date. So you don't need him to be a bronze medalist. You don't need him to be a silver medalist. You need him to get the F out of your life so you can date the man you're actually looking for. It's not like, sometimes you guys make it seem like it's rocket science that I'm asking of you guys, or I'm saying something blasphemous. It's not that hard. Just figure out what you want and see if the guys that you want are in line with what you want. And if they're not, just don't date them, and then move on to the next guy and date that guy. Don't waste your time dating guys who are not what you're looking for. Eventually, he stopped messaging me for about a week, and then you said you can't stop thinking about him now. So this probably goes downhill. I wasn't going out or seeing my friends. I tend to be emotionally dependent. I had a breakthrough and called one of my friends to explain the situation, and she told me to text him. You said break through, but I think you meant say break down. And she told me to text him since he had asked me out several times and I hadn't agreed or rescheduled. I didn't want to seem like I was forcing things, which is why I never sent the first text. So I proposed that we watch a movie at his place as he suggested before. We ended up going swimming. Oh, chat. You know what happened the last time you guys were in some water, in a body of water? He pulled it out on you. So let's see what happens this time when he pulls it out on you. Actually, you know what's funny about this? This might be his thing. This might be his little fantasy, his little, K-I-N-K. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. He likes to be in bodies of water a lot. And he gets horned up being in them waters. Something about them waters does something to him, okay? That might be his thing. You guys should start taking notice of stuff like that, okay? And this time, he was very touchy. What'd I just tell you? I just told you that's probably his thing, right? What'd I just tell you? I'm not dummy. I'm a man. Don't ever forget that. And when you start noticing patterns, there's something to it. Every time he want to get in that water, he start getting horned up. He probably got a little water thing going on. He watches them swimmer pineapple videos. You know what I mean, okay? He touched my, you meant to say Squirtle, and kissed me all over. He liked that pool stuff. Yep. He liked that pool stuff, that ocean stuff, that swimmer stuff. Yeah, oh boy. And at one point, he went down on me. In the pool? What the hell? In the pool. Nah, he different, yo. He different, yo. To each his own, but he different, yo. That's a hard, like, he's got a fantasy. That is a K-I-N-K for real, capital K for real. He went down on you in the water. He been thinking about that. Like, that's his thing for sure. Like, nobody does that. That's not their thing. So I stopped him immediately since we were in public, even though the beach was deserted. You seeing some things I'm seeing, chat? He likes that public stuff. He likes to be in them waters. He really has a water thing. Like, really, it's not a joke. I knew it from the very beginning. I was like, that's strange that he would get horned up in the water like that. I knew there was something to this. We talked about trust, and I asked if he trusted me. He said he trusted me 5 out of 10, which I understood, given that he's a public figure and some people might want to hurt him. He's a public figure and he likes to go down on you in the pool, in the public, I don't know, man. I guess it's just this thing. Diary of a CEO, right? Right. We eventually went back to his place, put on a movie, and things started to heat up slowly. Okay. You also said public figure. So if he's a CEO, he's probably a CEO for like either a big company or even, like a Fortune 500 company. Like, to be a public figure as a CEO, your company has to be big, not just kind of small. We eventually went back to his place, put on a movie, and things started to heat up slowly. We ended up fooling around, but didn't have pineapples. He told me there's no need to rush things, which suited me just fine because I'm still a virgin. Yeah. Yeah. Though he doesn't know that. What are you doing? What are you doing, Lima? You know that this guy who you're with is not trying to build anything serious with you, and you're a virgin. Like, I get it, you're young, so you make mistakes and you don't know what's going on here. This is not going to work out well for you. You guys are totally misaligned in what you're looking for. Totally misaligned. And you're attaching yourself emotionally to a guy who is not at all prepared to be what you need. Not even in the slightest. Not in the same mind frame as you, nothing. I whispered that I was a virgin and he made a shocked face, like someone had just told him about death. You want to know why his face is so shocked? Because he was just looking to have some lighthearted fun. He asked, "What did you say?" I changed the subject by saying, "I like your hair." Okay, you're not a child. Stand on business. If you're going to say it with your chest. You're not a kid, okay? This makes you like, I get it, you're nervous and stuff, but this just makes you look so weak when you do stuff like this. If you're a virgin and you're going to express it, just say it with your chest. What is this whole thing? Oh, I'm a virgin. What'd you say? Oh, I like your hair. What, like, be for real. Be for real, okay? I forgot to mention that he told me he has a pineapple friend. Chat, let me get up and stretch. You know what? It was a long time coming for this one. Let me get up and stretch. I need a moment. In fact, hold up, chat. I'm gonna go and pee. I need a proper break here in a second. Let's just take a second here. I need to pee so that I can come back and talk about this in a structured way, because I don't have any idea what Lima's doing. Just give me a second to gather my thoughts. I need to pee and gather my thoughts. Okay, chat. I had to pee. I had to gather my thoughts. And I came back with a pitcher of water because no idea what Lima's doing here. I'm very confused. And we got to figure this out, okay? We got to figure this out. Okay. Yesterday, he invited me over for dinner. He cooked and we chilled just like last time. He shared some of his thoughts, telling me one of his friends unalived himself just yesterday. Chad, I know some of you read this ahead of time. What the hell is going on? I hope this doesn't get worse. If ever something happened to him, like an accident or prison, he could see himself doing the same. That's why he doesn't want marriage or children, because there are decisions he wouldn't be able, those are decisions he wouldn't be able to make impulsively. So the reason he doesn't want marriage or children is so that he can unalive himself if he ever gets into an accident or goes to prison. Do you hear how absolutely idiotic that sounds? The reason this man doesn't want to get married or have children is because he wants to be able to have the out to unalive himself if he ever goes to prison or has an accident. What type of foolish nonsense is that? That is absolute rubbish. Makes no sense. And I can't even believe you would stomach that and sit down there and pretend like what he just said makes any type of sense. Ridiculous. I don't know what to think or what to do. I need your perspective. I'm almost going to curse. That's freaking ridiculous what he told you. And the amount of BS he just served you, the fact that you would even just say okay to that, like that was like, you should have walked away after that. What should I do? Walk the hell away. Being with him gives me access to certain privileges. Okay. And also certain traumas. What's your point? I get to meet high profile people. Okay. And you get high profile trauma. What's your point? And I'm learning new things every day. Yeah, you're also getting new trauma every day. What's your point? I feel good with him. How do you feel good with him? How? Chat, you know what? I love you guys so much. I don't say certain things to be mean, but sometimes the contradiction is so unbelievable, I must point it out. Lima, you say you feel good with him. Let's scroll up just a couple of paragraphs, okay? Right? Let's scroll up just a little bit, right? You did say that you feel good with him. Now, let's see where it was here that you said, okay, and you said you started to, I was initially into him, but after hearing that, I started feeling disgusted. When he hugged me or touched me, I felt like an object. Does that sound like feeling good, Lima? That actually sounds like feeling horrible, Lima. So the reason I'm pointing this out is because you're finishing your message with, I feel good with him, as if that's one of the reasons you want to stay with him. When you actually told me that you feel like an object with him and you feel disgusted with him. What you actually like is the access that you have being around him. That's not a crime. Doesn't make you a horrible person. But be honest about the reason you like him. You like the access it brings you. Not the actual man that comes with the access. Okay? Don't confuse yourself and try to convince yourself you like him when in reality, emotionally, you're not interested in him. In fact, you said from your own words, you started feeling disgusted with him and like an object with him. Remember, that was you that said that, not me. I'm not making stuff out of my butt. I know he only invites me everywhere because I'm beautiful. So you're saying I basically know he's only using me. The most important thing is I don't feel pressured to sleep with him, but you feel like an object with him and you feel disgusted with him. At least for now, since he doesn't seem to be pushing for that either. Help. Okay. I'm going to give you a little dose of reality here, Lima. And I'm not saying this to be mean to you. You said at the beginning of this message, this guy's a CEO and that he's a public figure, which means he has a lot of money. And like we've already identified, he has a lot of access and resources. I just want to be real with you. Realistically, a guy who has a lot of money, a lot of access, and is a single man, if he's not sleeping with you, there's 100% chance he's probably doing it with someone else, especially someone who's not sleeping with you, but on an ongoing basis telling you that he isn't interested in commitment, isn't interested in getting married, and he isn't interested in having children, which means there is no level of building or commitment that is flowing through this man's veins at all. He wants no commitment, but he has a lot of resources, a lot of money, and a lot of access. So that means if he's not sleeping with you, he's guaranteed to be sleeping with other women who would gladly take advantage of the access that he possesses. Why? Because he's not interested in commitment, he's not interested in marrying, and he's not interested in having children. So why would he bother himself being committed to someone who he's not going to be sleeping with? I'm not saying you're a bad person for not sleeping with him. I'm saying that understand the reason he's not sleeping with you is because he's probably sleeping with other people. Like, let's be so for real. You think if he has so much money that you're mesmerized and you want to stay with him because he has access, that other girls in his life who are pretty don't also recognize all the access that he has and will gladly stay in his life because of that? What you're essentially saying, Lima, is despite the fact that I don't like how I'm treated by him, or I don't really like how I feel about him, and we have identified that me and him are not at all on the same page in terms of what we want in the future. He's got a lot of access and a lot of resources, so I'll ignore all of that and be a placemat, a doormat for him to step on and wipe his shoes off of and wipe his schlong off on until he is ready to discard of me. Then I'll be out of his life. But until then, I'll continue to enjoy the access and the resources that he possesses as a rich CEO. Because that's essentially what you're saying. Because you're talking about you like him, but you didn't mention anything that you actually like. You don't like his mindset, and you don't like that the fact that he doesn't want a future with you, and you guys are on two completely different opposite places in terms of your mindset and what you're looking for. You don't even like the way that he treats you, really, because you're the one that said you started feeling disgusted with him and you felt like an object around him. So what do you really like about him? There isn't much here that you actually said you like about him, aside from the fact, what, you like watching movies with him? You're not even having a conversation with him. How are you enjoying that time? You didn't mention a single thing here of what you actually like about him. What is going well here? You started off the relationship from the very first date with examples of why you guys aren't looking for the same thing. Maria says, but she loves him. What does she even love about him? What? Please, chat, tell me, aside from money and aside from access, what does she love about him? The person. I'm not talking about the resources. What does she love about the person? Nothing. Okay? This type of stuff really frustrates me. Because Lima, you're wasting your own time. I have to say something that's going to hurt your feelings. You're not going to like it, but I think it'll actually splash you with some cold water. You're thinking that staying around is giving you access to eventually get somewhere good. What you don't realize is you're a pretty girl that he's bringing around maybe his other rich friends, and so you're around a rich congregation of people. But the moment he throws you away, you will stop hanging out with those rich friends. So you're thinking you're actually moving forward in life by being a side chick to a rich man. You're never going to see any of that money, and he might buy you a couple of gifts, but you're never going to be rich yourself by being a rich man's side chick. Because the moment he decides to discard of you, you will go back to having the life that you had before. I'm not saying that to be mean to you, but I just want you to understand you're convincing yourself you're here actually getting something. You're not actually getting anything. The access you're getting is through him because you're like his side chick plaything. You're not actually getting commitment from him, so there's nothing actually here for you. If he tells all his rich friends he no longer wants to see you or spend time with you, you'll be gone. And you won't have any of the access to the yachts or the boats or the fancy parties or any of the stuff that he has access or resources to. So I'm just saying that to say you're thinking you're getting somewhere and doing something by being around a rich guy and being his side chick. You're not. If you were his wife or his actual girlfriend, that's actually something. But he can toss you to the side for the next beautiful woman if he wanted to. And he's already told you the many ways in which he's only looking for a particular thing. So what it seems like is he, at the very beginning, told you, I'm not looking to commit to you at all whatsoever. Either take it or leave it. Essentially, you got upset and, things fizzled out and you didn't want that. You went away from him and then you probably thought to yourself, damn, but he does have access. He does have resources. He does have all this stuff. And you know what's funny? And I'm gonna be honest with you to be really real with you, so it can help you realize his own perspective. You want to know what's funny about this is that rich men like him are used to this. They're used to telling women that they meet straight up, you're getting no commitment from me. I'll spend whatever time I have and want to spend with you. I'll talk to you when I feel like talking to you. And if I don't feel like seeing you, I'll discard of you, right? They essentially tell them that. And they say, you can either take it or leave it. If you want to be with me, have the access that I have access to, go on fancy yachts, go to fancy dinners. You either get you either get me how I want you to be with you, or you get nothing at all. And rich, powerful men like him are used to saying, take it or leave it. And you know what's even funnier than that? They're also used to girls trying to say, oh no, I'm way better than all the other girls. I'm not going for that. I'm a different type of girl that can stand up for myself, and I want self-respect more than I want money or access or any of those things. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, go do your thing. Because he knows majority of those girls that he meets, they talk a big game at the beginning, and then you want to know what happens after a couple of weeks or a couple of months, they come crawling back with their sad little mouse mouth and they say, actually, you said you didn't want commitment, but I was thinking, you like go to Nobu, right? Maybe since we go to Nobu so much, I can ignore the fact that we don't have any commitment here. And he says, oh, like I thought, right? Much like I thought. Glad to have you back. Let's go out. Let's have some fun, right? They're used to that. They know the game, which is exactly why I tell you guys, don't be so hyper focused on how much money a man will spend on you, because that's not representative really and truthfully of his interest level in you. Because I can assure you, rich man CEO over here will spend some money on Lima for sure. Buy her some gifts for sure. Does that mean he's going to commit to her? For sure not. Okay? In fact, he'll do the same thing for her that he'll do for any of the other pretty girls that he sees casually at the time. Why? Because he has the disposable income to be able to do that. You get convinced that, oh my God, these gifts and these presents and these fancy dinners, that means he really likes me. No, if he really liked you, he'd commit to you, or at least try to build with you some real actual relationship. Not tell you he don't want children, he don't want to get married, and he don't want commitment, and then basically telling you to take it or leave it. Because that's what he said. And you said, I'll take it. So if you actually want some self-respect, just walk away from this relationship. Because I like I said, a 38-year-old man is already rigid enough and not going to change his ways. A 38-year-old rich man that owns a multi-million-dollar company, guaranteed will never change his ways. You want to know why? Because he's old and rigid, so he's stuck in his ways. And on top of that, his way of doing things and doing life has been working enough for him to be rich and successful. So he has stuck in his mind, I don't do any wrong. I don't need to fix what I'm doing. I don't need to adjust myself for anyone. I don't need to change the way I go about life for anyone, because nobody knows how to do stuff better than me. Right? You have like the double dose. He's older and he's successful and rich. So he has no reason to think that you should be able to come into his life and change how he goes about his life. I'm telling you that for a reason, so that you don't think that, oh, when I spend more time with him and I hang around him more, he's eventually going to realize that he wants me and wants to be with me and all this other stuff. That's a fantasy that will never happen. A rich, successful man that has been successful without you will always think to himself that he doesn't need you to continue being successful. Not to be mean to you, but I want you to realize that. So don't think you're going to change his mind by being with him longer. all you're going to do is waste your own time, because one day you're going to say, why did you go on that boat party without me? And you're going to realize through the grapevine that he took a different girl that he likes to that boat and yacht party. Why? Because he's rich, successful, and he can mesmerize any girl he wants by flashing a whole bunch of money and resources in front of her. And he's already told all of those girls that he doesn't want commitment either. And they're perfectly fine with it as well. So what you're going to figure out happens in the near future, you're just going to be one of his Rolodex of women that he literally spins through whenever he's bored. And he says, which girl do I want today? Do I want the Asian girl? Do I want the dark-skinned girl? I want the light-skinned girl with curly hair. What am I feeling like today? We'll see who I want to hang out with and who's doing the best today. Right? And you'll just be one of the Rolodex of women that is gladly willing to put aside your self-respect for the idea of getting the access and the resources that he has. But when he throws you to the side, you won't have any more of that access and none of those resources anymore. So what's the actual point? I know that that was pretty harsh, but I think you're living in such crazy delusion here because you're seeing a lot of money. And it's very horrible because you'll get played crazy doing this. So I actually think you need to just leave this man and stop talking to this man, because I have no inclination to think anything about him is going to change in the near future. Absolutely nothing. Okay. I get it that you're saying, oh, he doesn't push you to sleep with you or anything like that. But part of the reason he doesn't push you, just being honest with you from what you described about him, is because he probably has easy access to a whole bunch of other women who will sleep with him at a moment's notice. So it honestly is not that big a deal that when he spends time with you, you're like a side piece on his arm that looks good, that he doesn't sleep with you. Why? Because he can call up any one of those other girls who are impressed by the money and the resources to sleep with him. I just have to be so real with you so you don't live in the delusion anymore. I'm being honest with you, okay? So that's my honest advice to you, Lima, all right? Princess, I know you just sent in your message this weekend or today, but let me give other people an opportunity to get their question answered, because I did answer a question of yours from before, and you guys know that you have to donate multiple times if you have multiple different questions to keep it fair. Okay, let's see here some of these questions that we have here. So let's start with Sarah. Sarah says, need to break a dating pattern, okay? Sarah says, hello, I'm 30, was dating a 35-year-old man. We met online 3 years ago during COVID. I moved out of state temporarily. And what does meeting online mean though? IG? And we stopped dating. Since then, he has always been chasing me, trying to see me, but I was dating my other roster of men. Sarah, tell all the beautiful women in the chat who also think that they should date a roster of men. How did it work out for you, Sarah, dating a roster of men? Tell me. I would love to know how it worked out for you, because if it did, I feel like you wouldn't have even had a rest of the message here. Okay, let's see though. He was so persistent and I was back in the area, so I gave him a chance. Why? What happened to the roster of men? I thought dating 30 men at once is the answer to everything. Why didn't that work out for you? He flew down to meet me in Miami. Even though he was afraid to fly to show me his intentions. So we began dating. We went on a lot of dates, and then I finally let him give me oral. I told him I only do pineapples in a relationship and after STD testing. So we were... Why do this? I just don't understand why do this. I get it. You're saying you have boundaries, but oh my God. Okay, I'm going to try to be nice about this. For men, you look really silly when you spread your legs open, you're naked in front of him with your pants off. He buries his face inside of your squirtle. He gets a good, nice taste of it. And then you proceed to say, oh, yeah, no, I don't sleep with someone until we're in a relationship. Guys don't take you seriously because they've seen you naked now. And like you're open for them. They understand that if you're willing to do that, you can easily be tempted into sleeping with them. Like they're not dumb. And they know how if you really were serious about that, you wouldn't even have allowed that to happen in the first place. Because it makes no sense to say, I'm not. Okay, first of all, let me take you guys into like sex ed for a second. You do realize you can still get an STI through the mouth, right? I know that I don't want to make it too graphic here, but like that is actually possible. So don't think you're escaping the possibility of getting an STI by not sleeping with them directly. You can get it through a mouth or a mouth sore, or if he has a cut in his mouth or anything like that, he can still transfer that to you. So don't think that you're avoiding that just because he eats you out. Okay? That's a little bit of sex ed for some of you that didn't know that. Just FYI, all right? So we were in a pattern where he took me on dates and only gave me oral. But I feel like we didn't move to the relationship stage after 6 months, so I broke up with him since I wasn't sure if he had commitment issues since he was divorced 5 years ago. Is only having oral considered giving myself up to men or giving access to you for free, even though he takes you out? Should I refrain from all bases claiming to not have pineapples until a relationship? This has been a pattern. Sarah, I love you and I care about you deeply, which is why I want to actually help you by giving you some real, honest advice from a man's perspective. If I'm a man and I'm seeing a girl and she's telling me all the ways that she only makes men wait until they're in a relationship with her to sleep with her, and then directly after that, she spreads her legs open, removes her pants, and I see her naked and I eat her out, I don't care if I gave that to her, I'm not going to take that girl seriously. I'm not going to take her seriously when she says she doesn't sleep with people easily, because you're saying you don't sleep with people easily. So logic should tell someone that's actually of that mind frame that I don't take my clothes off and let you see me naked and be vulnerable for you easily either. That requires work as well. So saying that you don't let someone sleep with you easily, but then letting them easily just eat you out, like the logic there, it doesn't add up. It really doesn't. And what it makes men feel still is like they accomplished something or got something from you early on very easily without a lot of work. Because getting you naked feels like an accomplishment. Don't forget it, okay? And they feel like they're always one step closer to getting to the end goal. And I can assure you, if maybe he sucks at it, so that might be one of his issues there. But I can assure you, if he's good enough at eating you out, and he does it on a consistent enough basis, and he's good enough at turning you on mentally and emotionally, he starts dirty talking to you the way you like, he starts, caressing your body the way that you like, he's eating you out crazy, you're having multiple gasms and all that good stuff, I can guarantee you, you will eventually fold. I'm telling you this as a man, okay? I know this to be true. You will eventually fold if you continue putting yourself in temptation's pathway like that. He gets good at it. He gets good at knowing what you need. He gets you horned up. And I promise you, you will make a mistake. Then what? What are you going to say then? You ate me out so good, I couldn't think straight. So then I just allowed you. It's done now. All the stuff you just said is out the window now. So I say that to say, why even put yourself in that position to make a mistake like that? Because you do know once you go back on your word after saying these are my boundaries and these are I don't sleep with someone. Once you go back on your word and he does that with you, you're cooked forever. Now he will never take you seriously when you say you're not willing to do something or this is your standard or expectation. He's going to have in his mind, I do whatever I want with you because when you say something, it doesn't actually mean anything. I can convince you to do what I want. That's what you're showing someone when you do that. Don't stand on a high horse if you're going to not stand by it, okay? You're better off, honestly, in that situation, if you know you like getting oral and you like getting guys' head stuffed down in between your legs, you're better off just not saying anything, truthfully, honestly, than even pretending to stand on a high horse and say how you're not going to do this, not going to do that, and then he's eating you out that same night. I get it. It's not exactly what you're saying that you weren't going to do, but it's so close there. And it does the same thing in terms of breaking the illusion to him that like you mean business. It just doesn't strike guys as you mean business when you demand respect and say you're not doing this and you're not doing that. And then he's eating you out that same night or, a couple of dates later, right? It does not look well at all. Okay, I know it's not the same thing and I know it's not a body, but guys can't, the same way, I'm telling you the truth, guys aren't going to take you seriously after doing that, especially after you stand on a high horse and talk about how you ain't doing this and you ain't doing that. It does not look well. In fact, men say to themselves, they start to think to themselves, I would love to challenge you on that. And I would love to see how much I can tempt you to get you to fold and make more and more mistakes because you're standing on a high horse. Don't put yourself in that position if you know you're not prepared to really stand by that. And no need to continue tempting yourself on an ongoing basis like that. Why do that? You realize you're a human being. Like I'm a human being, you're a human being, you're capable of making mistakes. You do know that, right? So if you pile enough external factors like drinking, maybe you're horned up, you're ovulating, he's eating you out real nice, he's caressing you, you had a romantic night, you know that you can pile on enough external circumstances that even you that's strong-willed and wants to make good decisions can make a mistake. You realize that, right? We're all humans and capable of making mistakes. So why make it harder or easier to make a mistake by putting yourself in a position like that, right? Once you're there and you're horned up and you feel good and he's been eating you out, do you know how easy it is for him to just get up, start kissing you, and for it to slip in? You understand that? Especially when you're in that mind frame and you're all juiced up and horned up and he's horned up and now there's a whole bunch of saliva on you. I know I'm getting graphic, guys. It's so easy to make a mistake that way. I don't understand why you're even playing that type of game. So easy. And those of you who have been there, you know what I'm talking about. It is so hard when you're in that position to stay sane and say to yourself, all right, I'm still going to stand by what I said before. Okay, so Brisa said, not this getting me excited. Y'all nasty, okay? We're trying to learn here. This isn't that type of sex ed, all right? But you get my point, Sarah. Please don't do that if you want a guy to take you seriously. I know it's not the same thing as sleeping with him, but please understand you're making a mistake if you're going to tempt yourself that way, okay? Especially for the guys that know what they're doing, they'll make it very hard for you to make good decisions. Trust you, me. I know what I'm talking about. Next year, we have... let's see, Samantha, this one's deleted. We have here S&M. Damn, we went 3 hours today, guys. This is the last one we'll do. S&M says, let's make sure it's not long. It's not long, it's fine. S&M says, like S&M, like Rihanna S&M? Okay. I am 20 and he is 21. Once I came back from my country, now I'm realizing something is that my emotions for that one person I truly miss, which really gets me in pain for the past 5 days now, and it keeps going on and on from my mind ever since sometimes when I call them, I automatically cry because they are in a different country. I'm assuming English is not your first language. That's fine because it's not making a lot of cohesive sense. And I was in that country with them and made much more memories and fun now. I just want to forget about the person because truly me and the person made lots of impacts along the way. And now we are in a relationship. But the main issue is we are in no contact for now since he knows I have to study and that's why he is in no contact, because he said if I text him, it will affect my studying, which is true. And he says he loves me a lot, but what should I do now to forget about the person? Should I forget about the person or move on? So to forget about him, I'll make it very simple for you. Delete every picture, video, Snapchat memory off of your phone. Delete them off your phone. Go on your computer, delete the pictures and videos off your computer as well. Go into your closet, take down any piece of clothing, any pants, boxers, shorts, sweaters, especially anything that he has worn that is in your closet, okay? Take it down, put it in a trash bag. I want you to tie up that trash bag, go to your local dumpster. Go to your local dumpster, and I want you to toss the trash bag in your local dumpster and never see it again. I want you to go back into your house. I want you to put in any toothbrush, toothpaste, any washing cloths he left at your place, socks, whatever it may be, snacks that he left at your place that he likes to eat, anything at your place that is remnants of him. Put it again in that trash bag, go back to your local trash dump and throw it away once again, okay? Then you're gonna come back home again. You're gonna go on your phone now and you're gonna go to your music app. You're gonna delete every single song that reminds you of him. So you're gonna delete all the songs that you guys listen to together, any songs that you guys discover together. You're gonna delete all of those songs off your playlist so you don't have to be bothered to hear them when they're on shuffle. You're gonna go to your shows on Netflix. You're gonna get rid of any show that you are watching that you watched with him. Don't watch any of the movies that you guys watched together. And for the rest of the next 6 months, I want you to not even cook the meals that you guys enjoy together. Don't go to the same restaurants that you guys went to together. Let's actually cut him out of your life so you can start thinking straight. I want you to block him on everything, right? On your phone, block him his number, block his social media, block everything that he owns that he could possibly contact you through. Then I want you to go to your friends. I want you to tell your friends that the relationship is over, and that if he tries to contact you, that you guys should just ignore it and not say anything to you about him. The reason I'm saying all this is because you need a total detox from that man. You need to take a whole step back from him so you can possibly move forward. You're not trying to forget about him, but you need to give yourself a chance to move forward from him. And you can't do that if every day you're looking at pictures while wearing the sweater, while, remembering all the memories and all that stuff, okay? If you've got Polaroids, rip them up, put them in that trash bin. Don't look at them again. You got to get rid of all the remnants of him so that you can move on, especially if you're someone that knows you're going to check that on a daily basis. You have to do that. Then after you do all of that, what I want you to start doing is stepping outside of your house and doing some things that you enjoy doing. I didn't say stepping outside of your house and meeting more boys. I didn't say stepping outside of your house and going on dating apps. I said stepping outside of your house and solely doing things that you enjoy. You can bring girlfriends along or you can go and do them by yourself. Just do it though because you enjoy it. Why? Because I want you to spend some time on you, investing in you, doing things for you because that's what you want to do. I promise you, as you continue to do that, and I want you to start to build a routine around that, okay? Build a routine around doing things that you enjoy in your life for you and for your enjoyment. When you build a routine around that, I mean like a 7-day routine, okay? Or a 5-day weekday routine and a 2-day weekend routine. That way, you have a set schedule of what you're going to be doing throughout each day that you never have downtime to just watch paint dry and sit to yourself and think about how sad you are that this guy isn't in your life anymore, okay? That is the exact thing that I want you to do if you're serious about getting over him. Now, if it's not that serious to you or you don't care that much or you're like, Thompson, that's too much work, I don't want to actually do that, then don't do it, okay? But I can't give you a magic potion that's going to make you get over him in 1 second, okay? If you actually want to seriously do that, it's going to require work, and you can do that, but that requires you to actually get rid of these memories and do those things that takes real work, okay? That is all the questions for today. Don't worry if I didn't answer yours. I'll get to yours soon. I'm here basically every weekday. Not basically every weekday, every single weekday where I'm answering questions. If you want to skip the line of questions and you don't want to wait to get yours answered, because that one was like from 30 days ago, you can go over to Relationship Advice Premium, ask your question in Relationship Advice Premium, and I will answer your question live on the show. You get to skip the line. All you got to do is donate to the show. The link is in my bio or in the link in my description. If you want to ask me a private question, which is exactly what I'm going to get to after this, get to all my private questions, you can ask me a private question through the same link in my bio on TikTok or in the link in my description on YouTube. I send you back an email message, and it's going to be a voice message through your email. Nobody else sees it, just between you and me. Nobody else reads your message, so that way it's you can keep it private if you want to be a private person. All right. For those of you who are wanting to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is right above my head on the top left of the screen. It's just Tomisin_Atub. You can follow me on there, see everything I'm doing, get a little bit up close and personal with me a little bit more. Okay. And for those of you who are on YouTube, my Instagram is just at the bottom right corner of the screen there as well. I love you guys so much. I'm here. I forgot to say, for those of you on TikTok that missed parts of the show or came late, my YouTube page is above my head. It's just Tomisin Atobatele. Type it in on YouTube. Go to the live section and you'll be able to rewatch this entire live show along with all the other previous live shows I've done since the beginning of time. And the best thing is you'll get the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video, so you don't have to miss a second of conversation or context as to what we were talking about. Scotty says, wow, a 3-hour show. I know, right? It's the first time we went 3 hours. Isn't that crazy? It doesn't even feel like 3 hours. I enjoyed every second with you. I enjoy every second of my life I spend with you. Do you understand me? Okay. Don't worry. We got lots more time to spend. I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday. Okay. So I'll see you all, beautiful souls, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're right on time, and I'll see you again then. Until then, goodbye for now. Arrivederci, adios, ciao, sayonara. I can't think of any more. Hasta la vista. Bon voyage! And I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you so much. Au revoir. Ciao.